They say history belongs to the victors, but what about the stories carved in stone, buried beneath sand, and hidden in plain sight? Across the world, from jungles to deserts, colossal statues, megalithic walls, and forgotten cities stand as silent witnesses to knowledge lost in time. Tonight we uncover 24 astonishing mysteries, structures, artifacts, and giants of the past that defy explanation. And remember, subscribing might just bring you 7 years of luck as we journey into the unknown. The colossal statue of Heracles at Gadara. In the ancient city of Gadara, located in what is now modern-day Jordan, there once stood a monument that captured the imagination of all who laid eyes upon it, the colossal statue of Heracles. Crafted during the Roman period, this statue was not just a tribute to a mythological hero, it was a demonstration of human skill, ambition, and the power of art to inspire awe. Gadara, known as one of the cities of the Decapolis, was a cultural hub where Greek, Roman, and local influences merged. It was a place of philosophy, architecture, and artistic expression. In this vibrant city, the colossal statue of Heracles was envisioned not only as a symbol of strength, but as a reflection of the city's wealth and sophistication. The figure of Heracles, the divine hero renowned for his 12 labors, stood as an embodiment of courage, resilience, and divine favor. What made the statue so remarkable was its sheer scale. Standing tens of feet tall, it was carved from massive stone blocks, each one precisely shaped and placed to maintain structural integrity. Such a feat required a profound understanding of engineering, weight distribution, and the material itself. How ancient sculptors managed to transport and assemble these enormous pieces with limited technology continues to astonish historians. The artistry of the statue was equally impressive. Every muscle, every sinew, and every expression was carefully rendered to convey both physical power and human emotion. Heracles' pose, often depicted with a club slung across his shoulder, exuded authority and confidence. The attention to anatomical detail reveals a sophisticated knowledge of the human body, allowing the sculptors to translate myth into stone with an almost lifelike quality. The colossal scale of the statue served a purpose beyond aesthetics. It was designed to be seen from afar, dominating the cityscape, and reminding the citizens and visitors alike of the power and protection Heracles symbolized. It was not merely a piece of art, it was a statement of civic pride, spiritual reverence, and cultural identity. Archaeologists today marvel at how such a statue was constructed, quarrying massive stones, transporting them across uneven terrain, and assembling them into a coherent figure required meticulous planning and coordination. Some theories suggest the use of ramps, pulleys, and scaffolding, though even these explanations only hint at the extraordinary skill involved. The precision achieved by the ancient builders continues to puzzle modern engineers, illustrating that our ancestors possessed an understanding of construction and mechanics far beyond what we might expect. Beyond its technical and artistic marvels, the colossal statue of Heracles also tells a story of belief and myth. Heracles was not only a hero of legend, he represented the human desire to overcome challenges, to face insurmountable odds, and to emerge victorious. In placing such a figure in a public space, the citizens of Gadara aligned themselves with these ideals, creating a monument that was both inspirational and aspirational. The statue's location within the city was carefully chosen. Positioned to be visible from key roads and public spaces, it ensured that the presence of Heracles was a constant reminder of protection, strength, and divine favor. Pilgrims, merchants, and citizens alike would have gazed upon the statue daily, absorbing its symbolism and connecting with the cultural narratives it embodied. Over the centuries, however, time and nature have taken their toll. Earthquakes, weathering, and human activity have reduced the statue to fragments, leaving archaeologists to reconstruct its original grandeur from scattered remains. Despite this, enough has survived to convey a sense of the monument's original scale and impact, allowing modern audiences to glimpse the majesty that once dominated Gadara. Excavations have revealed the base and partial remains of the statue, along with surrounding architectural elements that indicate the statue was part of a larger complex, possibly a temple or civic plaza. These findings suggest that the statue was more than an isolated artwork. It was integrated into the social and spiritual life of the city, reflecting the importance of Heracles as both a mythological figure and a civic emblem. The craftsmanship displayed in the colossal statue of Heracles continues to challenge our understanding of ancient art. Modern sculptors and engineers study these remnants to learn how the ancients achieved such realism and durability. Every fragment tells a story of meticulous planning, technical knowledge, and an artistic vision that has transcended time. Culturally, the statue offers insight into the ways myth and public art were intertwined in ancient cities. Heracles was not simply admired for his legendary deeds, he was a symbol of the virtues that communities valued: courage, endurance, and the capacity to confront challenges. By monumentalizing him in stone, the citizens of Gadara created a visual narrative that reinforced social and spiritual ideals. Today, as we study the site of Gadara and the remnants of the colossal statue, we are reminded that human ambition has always sought to bridge the gap between the ordinary and the divine. The statue stands, even in fragments, as a testament to the power of imagination, skill, and the enduring legacy of ancient civilizations. Visiting the site, one cannot help but feel a connection across millennia, a sense of awe at the audacity of those who dared to carve legend into stone, to make myths tangible, and to leave a monument that speaks across the ages. The colossal statue of Heracles at Gadara is not merely a relic, it is a narrative frozen in time, telling us who we were, what we valued, and what we could achieve when art, faith, and ambition converge. It reminds us that the past is never truly gone. In the shadow of these colossal figures, we are invited to reflect on our own aspirations, our creativity, and our capacity to leave marks that endure far beyond our lifetimes. The stone may crumble, empires may fall. The megalithic fortress of Kulap, Peru's cloud citadel. High in the mist-covered Andes of northern Peru, where clouds drift like slow rivers between the mountains, stands a place that defies imagination. A fortress so vast, so perfectly hidden above the world, that for centuries locals simply called it the city in the clouds. This is Kulap, the megalithic citadel of a forgotten people, older than the Incas, and still wrapped in mystery. To reach it, you climb a winding road through cloud forests and moss-draped cliffs. The air thins, the sound of modern life fades. What appears through the fog looks impossible, a wall of stone stretching more than 600 meters long and 20 meters high. From a distance, it resembles the ramparts of a medieval castle. Up close, it feels alien, stones weighing several tons each, stacked without mortar, still standing after more than 1,000 years of earthquakes, storms, and time itself. Archaeologists tell us Kulap was built by the Chachapoya, the so-called people of the clouds, a civilization both admired and feared by the Incas, who later absorbed them into their empire. But when the Incas arrived, Kulap was already ancient. No one knows exactly when construction began. Estimates range from the 6th to the 10th century AD, yet the engineering rivals anything the Incas ever built. Inside those walls lies a labyrinth of more than 400 circular dwellings, temples, and defensive corridors. Each circle once supported a conical thatched house. Fragments of pottery and bone tell of a bustling city that may have sheltered 3,000 people. Farmers, warriors, priests, perched almost 3,000 meters above sea level. And yet, why here? Why carve a fortress into the spine of a mountain, surrounded by nothing but mist and silence? Some believe Kulap was a stronghold, a final bastion of a people under siege. Others see it as a ceremonial center, a place closer to the gods of the sky. Perhaps both. Because at Kulap, defense and devotion intertwine. Its only entrances are narrow stone passages, barely wide enough for a single man to pass. Anyone attacking would be forced to move one by one, straight into the waiting spears of defenders. Beyond the gates, terraces spiral upward, as if the city itself was climbing toward the heavens. The architecture hints at something deeply symbolic. Serpent and jaguar motifs are carved into walls. Burial chambers are built beneath living spaces, a reminder that ancestors were never far away. And in the highest sector lies a towering platform, thought to be a temple of the sun, where priests performed rituals as the clouds rolled past their feet. Kulap predates Machu Picchu by at least 600 years, yet few outside Peru have ever heard of it. When Spanish chroniclers marched through the Andes in the 1500s, they wrote of a city built by giants, hidden among the clouds. They couldn't believe human hands had raised walls so tall with no beasts of burden, no iron tools, and no wheels. Even today, that description doesn't feel exaggerated. The stones of Kulap are enormous, some as long as 5 meters. Archaeologists still debate how the Chachapoya moved them up those impossible slopes. Recent excavations suggest Kulap may have been aligned with celestial events. At dawn on the solstice, the first sunlight pierces directly through one of its main gates. Coincidence? Or the echo of an ancient astronomical order? Every layer of the citadel seems designed with intention. Water channels cut through bedrock, plazas shaped for ritual sound, walls thick enough to outlast centuries. But Kulap is not only a marvel of engineering, it's a tomb. Hidden beneath the stones are thousands of burials. Men, women, children, laid to rest with ceramics, textiles, and offerings. In one crypt, archaeologists found the bones of high-status individuals seated upright, their skulls wrapped in woven bands, a practice tied to ancestor worship. It suggests that the people who lived here believed death was not an end, but a transformation, a merging with the cloud and stone. When the Incas conquered the Chachapoya, they respected the fortress enough to leave it intact. Later, the Spanish campaigns brought disease and destruction. The jungle reclaimed what remained. For centuries, Kulap vanished, until 1843, when a local judge stumbled upon its walls while hunting. He wrote that it seemed like a second Babylon rising from the mist. His report was ignored for decades. Only in the 20th century did researchers begin to map the site in full. Today, restoration efforts have cleared some of the vegetation, revealing more of Quilep's true scale. From the air, it looks less like a fortress and more like a stone ship stranded on a mountain peak, its prow aimed toward the sunrise. Drone surveys show terraces descending the cliffs like armor plates, each level reinforced by retaining walls. Engineers studying the site have called it anti-seismic architecture ahead of its time. And when you stand there, surrounded by cloud and silence, you understand. This was never meant to be merely defensive. It was meant to endure, a statement carved against oblivion. Still, mysteries remain. There are tunnels sealed with rubble, chambers that have never been opened. Ground-penetrating radar has detected voids deep beneath the citadel, possibly royal. The Vinapoo Wall. Inca precision on Easter Island. On the isolated shores of Easter Island, in the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean, there lies a mystery that quietly defies everything we know about ancient engineering. Beyond the towering Moai statues, beyond the stories of kings and chiefs, stands a structure that few travelers notice, yet one that has silently challenged historians for generations. This is the Vinapoo Wall. Stretching across the landscape, the Vinapoo Wall is more than a boundary or a simple defensive structure. Its stones are enormous, some weighing several tons, yet they fit together with astonishing precision. Unlike typical walls of antiquity, these stones are polygonal, irregular, yet each block interlocks seamlessly with its neighbors. Centuries of wind, rain, and shifting earth have passed over Vinapoo, yet the wall has endured. Its joints flawless, its alignment exact. Scholars have long been puzzled by this remarkable precision. The methods required to carve and fit these stones seem far beyond the capabilities of the island's known inhabitants during the wall's construction. What makes it even more astonishing is the striking similarity to Inca walls found thousands of kilometers away in Peru. At sites such as Sacsayhuaman, the same polygonal interlocking technique appears. The resemblance is uncanny, and yet there is no definitive evidence that the Inca ever set foot on Easter Island. Walking along the wall, the complexity of the craftsmanship becomes clear. Each stone appears chaotic at first glance, but the more one studies it, the more apparent the intelligence behind every angle and joint. Every weight distribution seems intentional. Every irregularity serves a purpose. Without mortar, without modern tools, the builders achieved a stability that has withstood earthquakes, erosion, and the test of centuries. Local legend speaks of the Hanau Epei, the long-eared people of Easter Island, who were said to have possessed extraordinary skills in stonework. Some suggest that they were the architects of Vinapoo, masters of a craft now lost to history. Others propose that the wall predates these inhabitants entirely, built by a civilization whose knowledge was erased by time. In either case, the sophistication of the construction is undeniable. Archaeologists who first examined Vinapoo were astonished not only by the engineering but by the possible astronomical significance of the wall. Certain sections align with the solstice sunrise, hinting that Vinapoo may have served both practical and ceremonial purposes. It was a fortress, a symbol of authority, and possibly an observatory. The wall may have been a place where the people of the island connected with the cosmos, integrating science and spirituality into a single monumental creation. The stones themselves hold stories in their surfaces. Marks from ancient tools, evidence of careful carving, and precise shaping suggest a methodical approach that challenges our understanding of prehistoric craftsmanship. The effort to transport and position these massive blocks on uneven terrain, without wheels or pulleys, is a feat that modern engineers still admire. How they achieved such alignment with primitive technology remains a mystery that continues to provoke debate. Some theorists have gone further, suggesting that the techniques used at Vinapoo reflect a broader knowledge of engineering that may have been shared across the Pacific. The similarities to Inca constructions are difficult to ignore. Were these distant cultures connected in ways we have yet to uncover? Or did human ingenuity independently reach similar solutions in isolated environments? The answers remain elusive, but the stones of Vinapoo seem to hint at a story that has been lost, buried beneath the sands of time. Excavations around the wall reveal terraces and pathways, suggesting that Vinapoo was not simply a wall but part of a larger complex. Platforms and enclosures indicate areas of gathering, perhaps ceremonial or administrative. The interlocking stones suggest that the builders understood the principles of stability, weight distribution, and durability, creating structures that could survive millennia without maintenance. What adds to the fascination is the wall's endurance against natural forces. Easter Island is volcanic, subject to earthquakes and harsh winds, yet Vinapoo stands, its precision intact, a testament to ancient skill that rivals anything built on the mainland. This is a structure that whispers to us across centuries, inviting us to question the limits of prehistoric human capability. Scholars continue to debate the origins and purpose of Vinapoo. Was it built by local artisans with exceptional skill, or does it hint at contact with more advanced civilizations? The possibility of shared knowledge across vast distances intrigues historians and engineers alike. Perhaps it was a combination, a local people inspired by techniques observed elsewhere, adapting them to their unique environment, creating a fusion of ingenuity and necessity that resulted in something truly remarkable. Standing before the Vinapoo Wall, one cannot help but feel a sense of awe. Each stone is a fragment of a story, each joint a symbol of human achievement. The Zorat's Karer Stargate. High on the Armenian highlands, near the town of Sishan, stretches a plateau that has captivated human imagination for centuries. Known as Zorat's Karer, this megalithic complex, sometimes called the Armenian Stonehenge, stands as a testament to ancient ingenuity, curiosity, and perhaps something beyond our understanding. Here, hundreds of stones rise from the earth, some reaching over 2 meters in height, scattered across the land in patterns that are far from random. Their arrangement hints at a purpose lost to time, a secret written in stone that has defied scholars, explorers, and astronomers alike. Zorat's Karer is not just a collection of rocks. Archaeological studies date the site to at least 7,500 years ago, making it one of the oldest known megalithic complexes in the world. Yet despite its age, the sophistication of its construction is remarkable. Unlike many prehistoric structures, which appear rough and unplanned, the stones of Zorat's Karer are carefully positioned. Measurements reveal alignments with celestial bodies, the rising and setting sun, the cycles of the moon, and even distant stars that once held importance for early civilizations. The largest stones are particularly intriguing. Many are carved with small cup-shaped depressions, their surfaces polished and shaped with a precision that suggests deliberate human design. Scholars hypothesize that these stones may have been used as markers for astronomical observations. Ancient people, long before the invention of telescopes or written records, may have used these markers to track the seasons, monitor agricultural cycles, or determine ceremonial dates. For a civilization dependent on the land and the heavens, such knowledge would have been invaluable. Yet the function of Zorat's Karer extends beyond practical utility. Local folklore envelops the site in layers of myth. Some legends claim the stones are petrified giants, frozen in time to guard ancient knowledge. Others call it a stargate, a portal between earth and sky, where the physical and spiritual worlds intersect. Even today, standing among the upright stones, one can feel an undeniable sense of purpose, as if the builders themselves intended for every visitor to sense the alignment of the heavens. The scale of the site is staggering, stretching across dozens of acres. The placement of each stone appears intentional, following patterns that can be traced across the plateau. Archaeologists have mapped these alignments meticulously, noting correlations with solstices, equinoxes, and the movements of key stars. Yet despite these studies, many questions remain unanswered. How did prehistoric people achieve such precision without modern tools? How did they measure angles, distances, and directions so accurately across such a vast terrain? Some researchers propose that Zorat's Karer functioned as an observatory, a place where priests, astronomers, or rulers could study the sky and interpret its signs. In a time when survival depended on predicting seasons, floods, and harvests, the ability to track celestial cycles may have conferred immense power. Others suggest a more spiritual purpose, that the stones were arranged to honor deities, commemorate ancestors, or mark sacred spaces where humans could commune with the cosmos. Evidence of human activity around Zorat's Karer stretches back millennia. Artifacts discovered in the surrounding area, tools, pottery fragments, and small carvings, suggest that communities were active here for thousands of years. These settlements hint at a complex social structure capable of organizing large-scale projects. Moving, shaping, and positioning these massive stones would have required not only labor, but a shared knowledge of engineering, astronomy, and geometry. The precision of the site continues to astonish modern observers. Some stones align perfectly with the rising sun on the winter solstice, while others correspond with lunar cycles. Patterns emerge that suggest a deeper understanding of astronomy than one might expect from a prehistoric society. Could it be that these people had knowledge now lost to history? Were they experimenting with early calendars, mathematics, and astronomy in ways that predate civilizations usually credited with such discoveries? Zorat's Karer also challenges our assumptions about prehistoric life. We often imagine ancient communities as simple, isolated, and primarily concerned with survival. Yet here, on a windswept plateau, we see evidence of intellectual curiosity, artistic expression, and a desire to engage with forces far larger than themselves. The builders of Zorat's Karer were not merely erecting stones, they were creating a bridge between humanity and the cosmos, leaving a monument that would speak across millennia. The symbolism of the cup marks carved into many stones adds another layer of mystery. Some scholars suggest they were used to capture sunlight, to align with specific stars, or even to serve as primitive tools for observing lunar or solar events. Others speculate that they were ritualistic, perhaps representing offerings, prayers, or sacred markers of time. Each mark hints at a culture that blended practicality with spirituality, where every stone, every placement, and every engraving carried meaning. Zoroastrian's significance extends beyond Armenia. Comparisons with megalithic sites around the world, from Stonehenge in England to Nabta Playa in Egypt, reveal startling similarities. These sites, separated by thousands of kilometers and centuries, share common features: large stones arranged in precise alignments, connections to celestial cycles, and spiritual significance. While some argue for independent development, others suggest there may have been a shared human fascination with the sky, with patterns, and with the unknown. Despite modern investigations, many mysteries remain. How exactly were the stones transported and positioned? What tools or techniques did the builders employ? And most importantly, what knowledge did they possess that allowed them to align these stones so accurately with the heavens? Every excavation, survey, and study uncovers more questions than answers. For visitors today, walking among the stones is a humbling experience. The wind sweeps across the plateau, carrying whispers of a civilization that exists. The megaliths of Nartiang, high in the misty hills of Meghalaya, India, lies a landscape unlike any other. Known to locals as Nartiang, this sacred forest of stones stretches across the Khasi highlands, its terrain dotted with towering monoliths that have stood for centuries, silently guarding the secrets of the past. These megaliths, each carved and placed with purpose, form one of the largest and most enigmatic stone complexes in India, yet they remain largely unknown to the wider world. The origins of the Nartiang megaliths are as mysterious as their purpose. Archaeologists and historians estimate that many of the stones date back hundreds, possibly even thousands of years, yet written records are scarce. Unlike other megalithic sites in the world, such as Stonehenge or the Moai of Easter Island, the stones of Nartiang are intimately tied to local culture, rituals, and the social organization of the Khasi people. Walking through Nartiang, one is immediately struck by the sheer variety of megaliths. Some are simple upright stones, etched with carvings or symbolic markings. Others are massive, reaching several meters in height, their surfaces smoothed and carefully shaped. Many are arranged in clusters or alignments that suggest ritualistic or astronomical purposes, though no definitive explanation has yet been agreed upon. Each stone seems to tell a story, not in words but in form, placement, and alignment. Local legends hold that these stones are far more than monuments. They are living witnesses to the passage of generations. They mark graves of ancient warriors, commemorate chieftains, or serve as sites for ceremonial gatherings. Even today, the Khasi people honor these stones during rituals, leaving offerings, singing prayers, and performing dances that have been passed down through centuries. The stones are not relics of a forgotten past. They remain a vibrant part of cultural memory, bridging the ancient and the contemporary. The craftsmanship of the megaliths is particularly striking. Many stones are carved with intricate motifs, geometric patterns, depictions of animals, and symbolic designs that speak to a sophisticated understanding of art and symbolism. The placement of each monolith appears deliberate. Clusters are aligned along ridges, hilltops, and valleys, suggesting knowledge of topography, sightlines, and perhaps celestial events. Some scholars believe the megaliths were used to track the movement of the sun and moon, marking seasonal changes critical for agriculture and ritual cycles. Despite their age, the megaliths have survived centuries of exposure to harsh weather, monsoon rains, strong winds, and temperature extremes. This endurance raises further questions about the techniques used to carve and erect these stones. Without modern machinery, the builders would have relied on manpower, ingenious leverage, and an intimate understanding of stone properties to shape and position each monolith. The precision seen in some of the stones' alignment and balance suggests a level of engineering knowledge that is truly remarkable. One of the most fascinating aspects of Nartiang is its scale. The site contains hundreds of megaliths spread across a wide area, making it one of the most extensive stone complexes in the region. Walkers and explorers can spend hours navigating through the forest of stones, discovering new alignments, carvings, and arrangements at every turn. The sheer number of stones hints at a society with considerable organization, labor resources, and a deep cultural emphasis on ritual and monument building. Archaeologists continue to debate the purpose of the megaliths. Were they exclusively ceremonial, marking sacred spaces, or religious observances? Did they function as markers of territory, political power, or social hierarchy? Some scholars even suggest astronomical functions, aligning certain stones with solstices, lunar phases, or star patterns. The answers remain elusive, and part of the allure of Nartiang is that it resists simple explanation, inviting us to speculate, interpret, and wonder. The Nartiang megaliths also provide a window into the broader prehistoric landscape of India. Similar megalithic traditions have been documented in other regions, from the Deccan Plateau to the southern hills of Kerala, suggesting a widespread culture of stone monument construction. Yet Nartiyang stands apart in its scale, preservation, and continued cultural significance. The stones are not relics lost to time, they are integral to the identity and history of the Khasi people. Visiting Nartiyang today is an immersive experience. Dense forests, mist-shrouded hills, and winding paths reveal the megaliths gradually, each discovery more awe-inspiring than the last. The stone's silent presence evokes a sense of mystery, connecting modern visitors with an ancient civilization whose knowledge, beliefs, and practices remain largely hidden. There is a palpable sense of reverence here, an awareness that these stones are not merely objects but carriers of history, spirituality, and human ingenuity. The megaliths of Nartiyang challenge our assumptions about prehistoric societies. We often imagine early communities as simple, struggling with daily survival. Yet here, in this forest of giants, we see evidence of complexity, creativity, and a desire to communicate ideas across generations. The stones are a testament to an understanding of art, architecture, and cosmology, revealing that these ancient people were capable of feats that continue to awe and inspire. In conclusion, Nartiyang is more than a collection of stones. It is a living monument, a blend of cultural heritage, artistic expression, and architectural ingenuity. Each monolith tells a story of human ambition, reverence, and curiosity. The site remains a testament to a society that understood its place in the natural and spiritual world, leaving behind a legacy carved not in ink or parchment, but in enduring stone. As the sun sets over the Khasi hills, casting long shadows across the monoliths, one cannot help but feel a connection to the past. Nartiyang reminds us that human creativity, ingenuity, and devotion have always transcended time. The stones remain, silent yet powerful, inviting every visitor to uncover their mysteries, to marvel at the skill of those who came before, and to reflect on humanity's enduring quest to understand the world around us. The megalithic tombs of Silistani, high above the deep waters of Lake Umayo, in Peru, perched atop a windswept plateau, stand the enigmatic cholpas of Silistani. These towering stone tombs, reaching several meters into the sky, dominate the landscape with their sheer presence, offering a glimpse into the funerary practices of the pre-Incan Kala people. Each cholpa is meticulously constructed, a testament to the engineering skill and cultural significance of those who built them centuries ago. The history of Silistani is steeped in mystery. Unlike the grand pyramids of Egypt or the terraces of Machu Picchu, Silistani's tombs are smaller in scale, yet their construction is no less impressive. The Kala people, a society that thrived in the highlands of Peru before the rise of the Inca Empire, built these cylindrical stone towers to house the remains of their elite and nobility. The design of each cholpa is deliberate, thick stone walls, circular plans, and precise masonry that has withstood centuries of wind, rain, and seismic activity. Walking among the cholpas, one is immediately struck by the skill involved in their construction. Many of the stones weigh several tons, yet they are perfectly shaped and fitted without the use of mortar. Some tombs feature intricate carvings and doorways aligned with cardinal points, suggesting a sophisticated understanding of astronomy and cosmology. Scholars believe that these alignments were not accidental. They may have served to connect the deceased with celestial events, marking solstices or other significant astronomical phenomena. Inside the cholpas, the Kala placed mummified remains along with grave goods, pottery, textiles, and tools that symbolize status and wealth. These tombs were more than burial sites, they were sacred spaces, designed to honor ancestors and maintain connections between the living and the dead. Unlike mass graves, each cholpa reflects individual recognition, a tribute to the person interred within, and the belief that death was not an end, but a continuation of influence and memory. The construction methods of Silistani are as fascinating as their purpose. Some researchers suggest that the Kala used simple machines, levers, ropes, and inclined planes to lift and position massive stones, yet the precision with which the stones fit together remains remarkable. Each stone is carefully placed to resist shifting over time, creating structures that have survived centuries in a harsh environment, exposed to wind, rain, and occasional earthquakes. The skill and knowledge required to build such enduring monuments indicate an advanced understanding of engineering principles that continues to intrigue modern architects and archaeologists. Silistani is not only a site of architectural marvel, but also a cultural touchstone. The Kala were known for their elaborate rituals, and the tombs likely played a central role in ceremonies honoring the dead and invoking protection for the living. Offerings of food, textiles, and other items were made regularly, maintaining a sacred dialogue between generations. Visitors to Silistani often remark on the sense of reverence that pervades the plateau, a tangible feeling that the past is present, watching over the land and its people. The Kala also offer insight into social hierarchy. The tallest and most elaborate towers were reserved for leaders and those of high status, while smaller, simpler tombs were constructed for others. This differentiation reflects the Kalo's societal organization and their emphasis on legacy and prestige. In many ways, the tombs are a record of social order, codified not in written language but in stone. Beyond their architectural and cultural significance, the location of Silistani is striking. The tombs overlook Lake Umayo, with dramatic cliffs rising behind them and the expansive highlands stretching into the distance. This placement was likely intentional, symbolizing the connection between the earthly realm and the spiritual world. From this vantage point, the Kalo could observe their territory, honor their ancestors, and perhaps communicate with forces beyond the visible world. Archaeologists continue to study Silistani, uncovering clues about the Kala and their way of life. Despite centuries of weathering and the influence of later civilizations, the tombs remain remarkably well preserved. Excavations have revealed artifacts that illuminate daily life, trade networks, and spiritual practices. Each discovery adds a layer of understanding, yet the site retains an aura of mystery, reminding us that much of history is lost to time, waiting to be interpreted. The Cholpas of Silistani challenge modern assumptions about ancient societies. They reveal a culture capable of sophisticated engineering, a deep reverence for the dead, and an intricate understanding of symbolism and astronomy. While smaller in scale than some ancient wonders, their impact is profound. They force us to reconsider the complexity of pre-Incan civilizations and their contributions to human history. Visiting Silistani is an immersive experience. The quiet plateau, the looming stone towers, and the shimmering waters of Lake Umayo create a setting that feels both timeless and sacred. Standing among the Cholpas, one can imagine the ceremonies, the mourners, and the reverence that surrounded these tombs centuries ago. The site remains a bridge between the living and the dead, the past and the present, offering a glimpse into a civilization that continues to fascinate and inspire. In conclusion, the megalithic tombs of Silistani are more than burial sites. They are enduring monuments to human ingenuity, devotion, and cultural identity. Each Cholpa tells a story of a society that valued precision, ritual, and remembrance. As the sun sets over the highlands, casting long shadows across the towers, one is reminded that history is not merely recorded in books, it is etched into the earth, in stone, and in the legacy of those who came before. The megalithic stairway of Copan. Rising in the heart of Honduras, deep within the lush valleys of the Copan River, lies one of the most enigmatic remnants of the ancient Maya civilization, the hieroglyphic stairway. This monumental staircase, stretching over 20 meters in height and composed of more than 1,800 intricately carved steps, is both an architectural marvel and a historical treasure, revealing a society steeped in sophistication, ritual, and record-keeping. The hieroglyphic stairway is unique in the ancient world. Unlike other Maya constructions, this massive staircase served a dual purpose. It was both a functional structure and a vast repository of knowledge. Each step, meticulously carved from stone, bears inscriptions in the form of Maya glyphs, detailing the lineage, achievements, and events of Copan's rulers. The sheer scale of the stairway suggests that the Maya had an extraordinary capacity for organization, planning, and artistic expression, as well as a deep reverence for their ancestors and history. Constructed during the reign of King Waxtaclajuan in the 8th century CE, the stairway was intended to immortalize the dynastic record of Copan. Scholars estimate that it originally contained the longest known text from the Maya civilization, recounting more than 2,000 years of history in a language that combined pictorial and phonetic symbols. Every glyph was carefully carved to preserve events of political, religious, and social importance, highlighting the Maya understanding that architecture could serve as a lasting medium for cultural memory. The construction itself is a marvel. The Maya had to transport massive limestone blocks from quarries located several kilometers away, then precisely align each one to create a stable, monumental staircase. The precision of the stonework is staggering, with each step perfectly shaped and fitted, demonstrating not only practical engineering knowledge, but also an artistic sensibility that turned functional structures into lasting works of art. The alignment of the stairway is thought to have symbolic significance, possibly connecting the earthly realm with celestial cycles, reinforcing the Maya belief in the interconnectedness of heaven and earth. The hieroglyphic stairway is more than a feat of construction. It is also a testament to the Maya understanding of writing and communication. The inscriptions include the names of kings, the dates of their reigns, major military victories, ceremonial events, and even astronomical observations. This remarkable record allows modern scholars to reconstruct the political and cultural history of Copan with remarkable detail, offering insight into a civilization that thrived more than a millennium ago. The stairway itself functions as a vertical chronicle, a timeline etched into stone, where the stories of rulers and gods intertwine. Beyond its inscriptions, the stairway is adorned with reliefs and carvings of symbolic and mythological significance. Figures of gods, warriors, and ceremonial scenes embellish the steps, creating a visual narrative that complements the written record. These carvings reveal not only the religious and political ideology of the Maya, but also their artistry and craftsmanship. Every line chiseled into the stone carries meaning, preserving rituals and beliefs that shape the daily lives of the people of Copan. The hieroglyphic stairway also poses questions that continue to puzzle archaeologists. How did the Maya transport and assemble such enormous stones without the use of modern machinery? What tools and methods allowed for such precise carving of both glyphs and reliefs? And how did they conceive of a structure that would serve as both architecture and historical record? These questions highlight the ingenuity of the Maya, whose skills in engineering, mathematics, and writing rival those of many ancient civilizations. Visiting Copan today, one cannot help but feel a profound connection to the past. Standing at the base of the hieroglyphic stairway, gazing upward at the carved steps that rise toward the sky, it is easy to imagine the processions, ceremonies, and rituals that once filled this space. The stairway was not just a monument, it was a living center of culture, religion, and memory, a place where rulers communicated their power, ancestors were honored, and the society's legacy was preserved for future generations. Even centuries after the collapse of the Maya civilization, the stairway continues to captivate the imagination. Scholars painstakingly decode the glyphs, unlocking secrets of political intrigue, dynastic struggles, and religious practices. The hieroglyphic stairway is more than stone and carvings. It is a dialogue across time, allowing us to hear voices that would otherwise be lost. Each step is a story, each glyph a message, connecting the modern world with a civilization that mastered the art of recording history in stone. The megalithic stairway of Copan demonstrates that ancient structures were not merely functional, they were cultural expressions, technological achievements, and repositories of knowledge. It challenges assumptions about the capabilities of pre-Columbian societies, revealing a people capable of extraordinary feats of planning, construction, and communication. The grandeur and precision of the stairway remind us that human ingenuity knows no bounds, even without the tools of the modern era. As sunlight filters across the limestone steps, casting shadows that dance over the carved glyphs, the hieroglyphic stairway emerges not merely as a relic, but as a monument to memory, craftsmanship, and the enduring spirit of a civilization that refused to be forgotten. It stands as a silent testament to the Maya, a civilization that looked to the stars, honored its ancestors, and etched its story into stone, leaving behind a legacy that continues to inspire awe and curiosity. The cliff tombs of Naqsh Rustam, carved into the sheer cliffs of southern Iran, overlooking the ancient plains of Persis, lie the monumental tombs of Naqsh Rustam. These cliffside mausoleums, some of the most awe-inspiring examples of ancient Persian architecture, stand as silent sentinels of a civilization that ruled one of history's greatest empires. They are more than tombs, they are lasting symbols of power, artistry, and the eternal quest to be remembered. Naqsh Rustam is best known as the burial site of the Achaemenid kings, the rulers who forged an empire stretching from the Indus Valley to the Aegean Sea. 4 massive tombs, hewn directly into the cliff face, dominate the site. Each tomb is distinguished by a monumental cross-shaped facade, intricately carved with inscriptions and bas-reliefs. These carvings depict royal iconography, ceremonial scenes, and divine figures, linking the kings to the heavens and asserting their right to rule by divine sanction. The largest and most famous of these tombs is attributed to Darius I, the Great King, whose reign consolidated and expanded the Achaemenid Empire. Ascending to the tomb is an architectural feat in itself. The Achaemenids engineered platforms and stairways that allowed access to these immense stone chambers, demonstrating an advanced understanding of construction, geometry, and stone-cutting techniques. Every corner, every relief, reflects the empire's wealth, artistic sophistication, and political ideology. What makes Naqsh Rustam particularly fascinating is not just its size or craftsmanship, but the symbolic narrative carved into its cliffs. Kings are portrayed as divinely appointed rulers, often shown receiving the ring of kingship from Ahura Mazda, the supreme deity of Zoroastrianism. This imagery reinforces the idea that authority was not merely political but sacred. The reliefs also commemorate military victories and the king's duty to maintain order, echoing the Achaemenid vision of an empire united under both law and divine will. Beyond the tombs themselves, Naqsh Rustam also bears the marks of later civilizations. The Sasanian dynasty, rising over a millennium after the Achaemenids, left behind their own rock reliefs, depicting triumphs over enemies and royal investitures. These layered carvings create a palimpsest of history, where successive empires claimed and reinterpreted the landscape to assert their power and legacy. This overlap of artistic styles, cultural symbols, and political messages makes the site an invaluable record of Iran's evolving civilizations. The engineering behind the tombs is extraordinary. The The precision with which massive stone blocks were cut, transported, and fitted into the cliff face challenges modern assumptions about ancient construction methods. Scholars have debated how the Achaemenids achieved such feats given the lack of modern machinery. The scale of the tombs, combined with the intricate reliefs, suggests a society with highly specialized craftsmen, sophisticated planning, and significant resources at its disposal. Naqsh Rustam is more than just an architectural marvel, it is a narrative etched in stone. Every carving, from the smallest ornamental detail to the grandest depiction of kingship, tells a story of ambition, divine right, and cultural identity. The tombs were not meant to be hidden, they were designed to impress, to communicate power and permanence to anyone who stood before them, and to ensure that the memory of the kings would endure long after their deaths. The site also invites reflection on mortality and memory. The Achaemenids sought to transcend death through monumental architecture, believing that stone could preserve both their image and their deeds for eternity. In doing so, they created a space where history, art, and ideology converge, a place where the living could witness the grandeur of past rulers and understand their own place within the continuum of power and civilization. Modern visitors approaching Naqsh Rustam feel the scale of human ambition and the weight of history. The cliffs rise imposingly, the tombs carve deep into the rock, and the reliefs, though weathered by time, still convey authority and majesty. Standing before the tomb of Darius or the other kings, one cannot help but imagine the labor, organization, and vision required to transform raw stone into an enduring symbol of empire. Archaeologists continue to study the site, uncovering details about construction techniques, inscriptions, and cultural context. Each discovery at Naqsh Rustam offers new insights into the Achaemenid world, its social hierarchy, religious beliefs, and mastery of monumental construction. Yet, many questions remain. How were these tombs precisely aligned with the landscape? What rituals accompanied the burial of kings within these imposing cliffs? How did the symbolism of divine kingship influence the lives of ordinary subjects? Naqsh Rustam reminds us that ancient civilizations were capable of profound architectural, artistic, and organizational achievements. It challenges our understanding of what is possible without modern technology and demonstrates the enduring power of human ambition. These tombs are not merely resting places for kings, they are eternal statements of authority, vision, and the human desire to be remembered. As sunlight plays across the carved facades and shadows shift along the cliff face, Naqsh Rustam continues to captivate the imagination. It is a place where history speaks through stone, where kings communicate across millennia, and where the ancient world's grandeur remains palpable. Each relief, each chamber, each carved cross is a testament to the ingenuity, artistry, and enduring legacy of the Achaemenid Empire, inviting us to explore the mysteries of their monumental vision. The megalithic platform of Samaipata. High in the eastern foothills of the Bolivian Andes, near the town of Samaipata, lies a mysterious site that continues to baffle archaeologists and historians alike. Carved into a massive sandstone rock, the megalithic platform of Samaipata stands as a testament to an ancient civilization whose ambitions and abilities rival those of the great cultures of the world. Unlike typical ruins, this site combines natural rock formations with intricately carved terraces, channels, and ceremonial areas, all spread across hundreds of meters. Its purpose, construction methods, and the civilization that created it remain subjects of ongoing debate. Samaipata is not merely a collection of carvings, it is a sprawling complex that appears to have been carefully planned and executed. The main platform, often referred to as the El Fuerte, rises above the surrounding forest, commanding a view of the valleys below. The site features hundreds of carved steps, niches, and channels, whose precision suggests a deep understanding of both engineering and ritual space. Archaeologists have speculated that the channels may have been used to carry water for ceremonies, or perhaps to symbolically represent sacred rivers, linking the human and divine realms. The origins of Samaipata are contested. Some scholars attribute the site to the pre-Inca Arawak, or the Chane people, while others argue for a combination of cultures contributing over centuries, including later Inca influences. This layering of civilizations adds to the enigma, as each group may have adapted or expanded the platform, leaving behind a complex palimpsest of artistic and architectural expression. Carvings at Samaipata display a remarkable variety of motifs. Geometric patterns, animal figures, and astronomical markers are etched with striking precision. Some researchers suggest that certain channels and shapes may align with celestial events, such as solstices or equinoxes, hinting at a sophisticated knowledge of astronomy. The integration of these alignments with ceremonial spaces reflects a worldview in which the cosmos and the sacred landscape were inseparable. One of the most puzzling aspects of Samaipata is its sheer scale and the effort required to carve and shape the rock. Without modern machinery, these ancient peoples moved sculpted, and polished massive sections of sandstone, creating surfaces smooth enough for ceremonial activities while preserving the durability to withstand centuries of weathering. The labor, skill, and planning required imply a complex social organization capable of mobilizing and sustaining a workforce for large-scale projects. The site's spiritual significance is also evident. Many of the carved channels and niches are interpreted as spaces for offerings or rituals. Some scholars believe the platform may have served as a center for religious gatherings, community administration, or initiation ceremonies. The presence of water channels further suggests purification rituals or symbolic connections between earth, water, and the divine. Every corner of the rock seems to be imbued with meaning, inviting visitors to ponder the beliefs, values, and intentions of its creators. Samayapata's location is itself remarkable. Nestled in a region of high biodiversity, the platform sits at a natural crossroads between the high Andes and lowland forests. This positioning may have held strategic importance, enabling control over trade routes, access to fertile valleys, and visibility across the landscape. The connection between geography, symbolism, and ritual activity underscores the ancient architects' deep understanding of their environment. Despite centuries of study, many questions remain unanswered. How did these people carve such intricate designs into the hard sandstone with rudimentary tools? What ceremonies or events took place on the platform? And what ultimately became of the culture that built this remarkable site? Archaeologists continue to excavate and analyze, uncovering small artifacts and hints of domestic areas, but the broader story remains elusive. Visiting Samayapata today, one cannot help but feel the weight of history. The rock carvings rise majestically above the forest, echoing the voices of ancient peoples who sought to leave a permanent mark on the world. The interplay of natural formations with human craftsmanship creates a sense of awe, highlighting both the ingenuity and the spiritual depth of its creators. The megalithic platform of Samayapata reminds us that even in remote corners of the world, human ambition and imagination have always sought to shape the landscape in profound ways. It challenges our assumptions about prehistoric societies, demonstrating that they were capable of complex engineering, sophisticated astronomy, and enduring artistic expression. As the sun sets over the Andean foothills, the rock channels catch the light, casting long shadows across the terraces. The animals, the geometric patterns, and the ceremonial spaces all speak silently of a people deeply connected to their land, their cosmos, and their rituals. Samayapata is more than stone. It is a story etched into the earth, a monument to human creativity, spirituality, and the timeless desire to be remembered. To this day, Samayapata continues to guard its secrets, inviting exploration, study, and wonder. It is a site that transcends time, challenging modern visitors to contemplate the ingenuity of ancient civilizations and their ability to leave a lasting legacy on the landscape. Each carved niche, each channel, each terrace is a puzzle, a testament to human ambition, and an enduring invitation to explore the mysteries of the past. The cliffside temple of Tepoztlan. Perched on a rugged cliff overlooking the lush valley of Tepoztlan in central Mexico, the cliffside temple stands as a silent testament to an ancient civilization that thrived long before the arrival of the Spanish. Its location is as breathtaking as it is strategic, carved directly into the mountainside, with terraces and stone stairways that cling to sheer rock faces, demanding both awe and respect from those who approach it. This is not merely a temple, it is a monumental feat of architecture, engineering, and spirituality that has survived the ravages of time. The origins of the Tepoztlan temple are shrouded in mystery. Archaeologists attribute its construction to pre-Aztec cultures, likely the Tepoztecs, who inhabited the region as early as 1000 CE. Yet the sophistication of the temple raises questions. How did these people, without the use of modern machinery, carve terraces and steps into vertical rock faces with such precision? How did they transport heavy stones up the cliffside? And why choose such an inaccessible location for their sacred space? Every aspect of the temple reflects a deep connection between the natural environment and spiritual belief. The stairways are oriented to align with solstices, allowing the sun's rays to illuminate specific chambers during certain times of the year. Some researchers argue that these alignments served as astronomical markers, guiding agricultural cycles or ceremonial events. Others believe they were imbued with spiritual significance, a way for the Tepoztecs to bridge the earthly and divine worlds. The architecture of the temple is equally remarkable. Terraces extend outward from the cliff, providing panoramic views of the surrounding valley and distant mountains. Carved niches, altars, and ceremonial spaces hint at a culture deeply invested in ritual practices. Evidence of offerings, including pottery fragments and obsidian tools, suggests that these ceremonies were both communal and sacred, connecting humans to gods, ancestors, and the natural forces they revered. Constructing the temple on a cliff required not only immense labor but also sophisticated engineering knowledge. Retaining walls were built to prevent landslides, channels carved to manage rainwater, and stone stairways designed to endure centuries of use. The precision with which the stones fit together, without the use of mortar, indicates a mastery of megalithic construction techniques that continue to puzzle modern architects and engineers. Legends surround the cliffside temple, adding another layer of intrigue. Local folklore tells of spiritual beings inhabiting the mountains, guiding the Tepoztecs in their construction and rituals. Some believe that the temple was a site of initiation, where shamans and priests would undergo rites of passage, connecting them to higher realms. The combination of natural fortification, sacred geometry, and mythological significance suggests that the temple was a nexus of power, both spiritual and political, in the region. Exploring the terraces today, one can imagine the daily life of the Tepoztecs, the priests performing ceremonies, villagers ascending the stone stairways, and the surrounding environment forming an integral part of their sacred experience. The temple's integration with the cliff demonstrates a remarkable understanding of topography, stability, and environmental harmony. It is a reminder that ancient peoples were not merely builders, they were thinkers, engineers, and visionaries who shaped their environment to reflect their beliefs. The temple also raises questions about cultural exchange and influence. Similar cliffside constructions appear in other regions of Mesoamerica, suggesting a network of knowledge, trade, and shared spiritual ideas. The Tepoztlan temple, however, stands out for its dramatic verticality and intricate terraces, showcasing a unique approach to sacred architecture that remains unmatched in its scale and execution. Despite centuries of erosion, natural disasters, and human interference, the cliffside temple of Tepoztlan endures. Each step, each terrace, and each carved niche speaks of the Tepoztecs' ingenuity, spirituality, and ambition. The temple is not only a site of archaeological interest, but also a symbol of resilience, a place where human creativity met the challenge of nature and left a legacy that continues to inspire wonder. Visiting the site today, the scale and precision of the temple are overwhelming. From the base of the cliff, the terraces appear to defy gravity, and the stairways seem impossibly steep. Yet upon closer inspection, it becomes clear that every stone was intentionally placed, every alignment meticulously calculated, and every space designed to serve both practical and sacred purposes. The cliffside temple of Tepoztlan invites us to reflect on the capabilities of ancient civilizations. It challenges modern assumptions about their technological and engineering skills, their astronomical knowledge, and their capacity to create monumental structures in harmony with the natural world. This temple, carved into the cliffside, is a silent witness to a civilization that sought to merge heaven and earth, human effort and divine inspiration, into a single enduring monument. As the sun sets over the Tepoztlan Valley, the temple's terraces cast long shadows across the cliff, and the echoes of ancient ceremonies seem to linger in the air. The site remains a place of mystery, awe, and reverence, reminding us that the past holds secrets far beyond our understanding. The megalithic fortress of Arkaim, hidden within the steppes of the southern Urals in Russia, lies one of the most enigmatic archaeological sites of the ancient world. Arkaim, often referred to as the Russian Stonehenge, this megalithic fortress dates back to the 17th century BCE, a period when the Bronze Age cultures of Eurasia were flourishing. Yet the sophistication of Arkaim surpasses what we might expect from a settlement of its time, challenging conventional understanding of ancient engineering and urban planning. Arkaim was not merely a settlement, it was a carefully designed, circular fortress, built with concentric walls and a complex network of streets and dwellings. Archaeologists have marveled at its precise geometry. The walls, constructed from compacted clay and timber, form near-perfect circles. The dwellings within are arranged in radial patterns, with streets forming spokes that lead to the center. This level of planning demonstrates not only architectural skill but also a deep understanding of mathematics and spatial organization. The location of Arkaim was chosen with purpose. Nestled among hills and rivers, it was both defensible and sustainable. The rivers provided water, while the surrounding forests offered resources for construction and fuel. The inhabitants were skilled in agriculture, animal husbandry, and metalworking, evident from the tools, pottery, and artifacts recovered from the site. Yet it is the fortress's geometry and astronomical alignment that continues to astound researchers. Arkaim's circular design is aligned with the movements of the sun and stars. Some scholars suggest it functioned as an astronomical observatory, allowing its inhabitants to track solar and lunar cycles, as well as seasonal changes. These observations would have been crucial for agricultural planning, ritual practices, and social organization. The precision of this alignment indicates knowledge that seems remarkably advanced for a Bronze Age settlement in this region. Excavations have revealed that Arkaim was a hub of cultural and technological activity. The residents were artisans, metalworkers, and traders. Evidence of bronze casting and jewelry production points to a community that was economically sophisticated. while the uniformity of the dwellings suggests a high degree of social organization and cooperation. It is clear that Arkheim was not a random collection of homes, but a deliberately constructed city, designed for both function and symbolism. One of the most compelling mysteries of Arkheim is its sudden abandonment. Around the 16th century BCE, the settlement was deserted. Archaeologists have speculated on possible reasons: climate change, resource depletion, conflict, or spiritual motives. Yet no definitive explanation exists, and the site was left remarkably intact, preserving its circular layout and many of its structures. This sudden abandonment has only added to the mystique of Arkheim, giving it an aura of sacred or ceremonial significance. Local legends and modern interpretations further enrich the story of Arkheim. Some consider it a city of the sun, tied to ancient Aryan cultures and their spiritual practices. Others view it as a hub for ancient knowledge, a place where astronomy, architecture, and spirituality converged. The concentric circles are often seen as symbolic representations of the cosmos, linking the earthly city to the heavens above. The engineering of Arkheim demonstrates remarkable problem-solving skills. The builders contended with uneven terrain, climate extremes, and limited resources. They developed effective methods for constructing durable walls, managing water drainage, and organizing space efficiently. Every element of the city, from its outer walls to its inner dwellings, speaks of careful planning, intelligence, and a desire to harmonize human habitation with natural and cosmic order. Visiting Arkheim today, one is struck by the continuity of its design and the clarity of its purpose. Walking along the radial streets and examining the circular foundations, it becomes evident that this was more than a settlement. It was a living laboratory of Bronze Age engineering, astronomy, and culture. Scholars and visitors alike have noted an almost mystical atmosphere, a sense that Arkheim was designed with both earthly needs and cosmic principles in mind. The discovery of Arkheim in the 1980s transformed our understanding of prehistoric Eurasia. It revealed that societies in the southern Urals were not isolated or primitive, but were capable of extraordinary urban planning, astronomical observation, and cultural sophistication. The site also raised profound questions. How did this knowledge develop so early? Was it transmitted across regions? And why was such a sophisticated city abandoned so suddenly? Arkheim continues to inspire modern researchers, archaeologists, and spiritual seekers. Its concentric circles echo the patterns of the heavens, reminding us that ancient peoples were deeply attuned to the world around them, seeking to understand and align with cosmic forces. The fortress stands as a monument to human ingenuity, a place where architecture, astronomy, and culture intersected in a way that continues to captivate the imagination. The ruins of Arkheim, though silent for thousands of years, communicate a powerful message. Ancient civilizations were far more capable and knowledgeable than often credited. The circular walls, radial streets, and precise alignments reveal a culture that blended practicality with cosmic awareness. It challenges modern assumptions about prehistoric societies and encourages a re-evaluation of what human beings were capable of millennia ago. As the sun sets over the Urals, casting long shadows across the ancient walls, Arkheim remains a place of wonder and discovery. Each stone, each radial path, and each circular wall invites us to consider the skill, knowledge, and vision of its builders. The megalithic fortress of Arkheim is not just an archaeological site. It is a testament to the enduring power of human creativity, observation, and the quest to understand the world and the cosmos. The megalithic complex of El Fuerte de Samaipata, high in the eastern foothills of the Andes in Bolivia, carved into a massive sandstone rock, lies one of the most extraordinary megalithic complexes in South America, El Fuerte de Samaipata. This UNESCO World Heritage Site, known simply as Samaipata, challenges our understanding of pre-Columbian engineering and ceremonial architecture. Its vast scale, intricate carvings, and strategic location reveal a civilization capable of extraordinary creativity and planning. Long before the arrival of the Inca, El Fuerte spans over 8 hectares, with its centerpiece being a massive rock platform carved with terraces, channels, and sculptures. Archaeologists have determined that it served multiple purposes as a ceremonial center, a religious site, and possibly even an administrative hub. The carvings on the rock are breathtaking, depicting animals, humans, and geometric patterns whose exact meaning remains a mystery to this day. Each incision and terrace required not only physical labor, but also careful planning and knowledge of the properties of sandstone. The site's construction reflects a deep understanding of both natural and cosmic order. Channels carved into the rock suggest the ancient builders had sophisticated knowledge of water management, capable of directing rainfall and runoff in a controlled manner. Some researchers believe these channels may have been used for ritual purification, while others suggest practical purposes such as irrigation or drainage. Whatever the intent, the precision and durability of these features demonstrate a remarkable grasp of engineering principles, El Fuerte was inhabited by various cultures over centuries, from the pre-Inca Chane and Guarani people to later Inca colonizers. Each layer of occupation added complexity to the site. The Inca, in particular, recognized Samaipata's importance, enhancing its terraces and linking it to their extensive road network. The combination of indigenous and Inca influences makes Samaipata a unique palimpsest, preserving multiple layers of cultural and architectural development. One of the most striking features of Samaipata is its astronomical alignment. Certain terraces and carvings are oriented to mark solstices and equinoxes, suggesting that the site functioned as a kind of observatory or calendar. This alignment would have been crucial for agricultural planning, ceremonial timing, and social organization. The ability to incorporate celestial knowledge into massive stonework indicates a culture deeply attuned to both the earth and the heavens. The sheer scale of the rock platform is awe-inspiring. Measuring over 200 meters in length, it was carved entirely from a single sandstone outcrop. Excavations have revealed remains of ceremonial altars, offering pits and foundations for buildings, hinting at a vibrant ritual life centered on the platform. The effort required to create such a complex structure implies not only a skilled workforce, but also a highly organized society capable of mobilizing resources for long-term projects. Archaeologists have also noted the symbolic significance of the carvings. Stylized depictions of jaguars, snakes, and other animals suggest religious or cosmological meanings, possibly representing deities, spiritual forces, or mythological narratives. Geometric patterns and cupules dot the surface, adding layers of meaning that modern scholars are still striving to interpret. The carvings may have served as visual guides for rituals, storytelling, or celestial observation, though their exact purpose remains a subject of debate. The strategic location of Samaipata cannot be overlooked. Positioned on a ridge overlooking the surrounding valleys, the complex provided natural defense and a commanding view of trade routes and river paths. This vantage point would have made Samaipata both a ceremonial center and a point of territorial control, blending practical, spiritual, and political functions in a single monumental site. Despite centuries of weathering, earthquakes, and human interference, much of Samaipata remains remarkably intact. Its terraces, channels, and carvings speak to a level of craftsmanship and foresight that continues to astonish archaeologists and visitors alike. The megalithic nature of the complex, combined with its cultural layers and astronomical alignments, challenges the conventional narrative of pre-Columbian societies as primitive or unsophisticated. El Fuerte de Samaipata also sparks questions about labor organization and social hierarchy. How did these ancient peoples coordinate the effort required to carve such a massive rock? What religious or political motivations drove them to invest so heavily in monumental architecture? The answers may lie partially in the site itself, but much remains speculative, adding to its enigmatic allure. Walking across the platform today, one cannot help but feel the echoes of the past. Each carved channel, each terrace, and each depiction of an animal or human figure speaks to the vision of a society capable of monumental creation. Samaipata is not just a physical structure, it is a testament to the ingenuity, spirituality, and resilience of the people who carved it. As the sun sets over the Bolivian hills, casting long shadows across the sandstone terraces, Samaipata exudes a timeless presence. It is a place where engineering, artistry, astronomy, and spirituality converge, offering a glimpse into the minds of those who built it. This megalithic complex reminds us that ancient civilizations were far more sophisticated than often credited, capable of creating monumental works that still inspire awe thousands of years later. El Fuerte de Samaipata stands as a silent witness to the ingenuity and ambition of South America's pre-Columbian cultures. Its massive terraces and intricate carvings continue to challenge archaeologists, historians, and visitors, inviting questions about the knowledge, organization, and vision of its builders. Here, amid the Andes, the past remains alive, speaking through stone, space, and shadow, urging us to reconsider what was possible for ancient civilizations. The megalithic Temple of Matza. Nestled on the outskirts of modern-day Jerusalem, the megalithic Temple of Matza stands as a testament to the ingenuity and ritual life of prehistoric Levantine societies. Discovered in the late 20th century, this temple, dating back to around 8,000 years ago, predates most known monumental architecture in the region, offering a glimpse into the dawn of organized religious practice and megalithic construction. Matza's architecture is deceptively simple, yet astonishingly advanced for its time. The temple consists of a circular arrangement of massive stones, some weighing several tons, carefully positioned to create a central courtyard. Surrounding this courtyard are niches and stone alignments that suggest ceremonial functions, possibly related to agricultural cycles, fertility rites, or ancestral worship. The precision of the stone placement, without the aid of modern tools, demonstrates a deep understanding of geometry and engineering principles. archaeologists have found evidence that Matsa was more than a sacred space, it was a communal center. The distribution of artifacts, including stone tools, pottery fragments, and ritual objects, indicates that large groups of people gathered here for specific occasions, perhaps marking seasonal changes, communal feasts, or religious observances. The temple reflects not just spiritual beliefs but the social structure of the community that built it, hinting at cooperation, planning, and hierarchical organization. One of the most remarkable features of the Matsa temple is its alignment. Like many ancient megalithic structures, the stones appear to have astronomical significance. Certain openings and niches align with the rising sun at solstices, suggesting the temple functioned as a prehistoric observatory or calendar. Such alignments would have been essential for agricultural societies, helping to determine planting and harvesting times while reinforcing the spiritual connection between the people, the land, and the cosmos. Excavations have revealed traces of food offerings, animal bones, and charred remains, indicating that rituals conducted at Matsa were both ceremonial and communal in nature. The careful deposition of offerings within the stone niches suggests an early form of organized religion, where specific acts and placements held symbolic significance. These rituals, preserved in the stone and soil, provide a rare glimpse into the spiritual lives of a society long vanished. The temple's construction also raises questions about technology and labor. Moving and positioning multi-ton stones without advanced tools would have required ingenuity and coordinated effort. Archaeologists speculate that levers, ropes, and earthen ramps may have been used, but the precision achieved is striking, hinting at techniques that were possibly passed down through generations. Matsa's builders clearly understood not just how to move stone, but how to create a lasting and sacred space that would endure for millennia. Matsa also connects to a broader narrative of megalithic tradition in the ancient Near East. Similar stone circles, temples, and ceremonial sites are found across the Levant, suggesting cultural exchange, shared religious practices, or convergent architectural evolution. Yet Matsa stands out for its early date, scale, and sophistication, challenging assumptions about the technological and spiritual capabilities of Neolithic communities in this region. The surrounding landscape adds another layer of mystery and significance. Positioned strategically on a gentle slope, the temple overlooks fertile plains and water sources, integrating natural features into its sacred design. This choice of location indicates an understanding of both practicality and symbolism, linking human activity to the environment in a harmonious and deliberate way. Over the centuries, Matsa was buried and forgotten, concealed beneath layers of soil and vegetation. Its rediscovery has provided an invaluable opportunity to study early human architecture, ritual, and society. Each stone, each alignment, and each artifact speaks of a civilization experimenting with monumental construction, sacred space, and community cohesion. The megaliths themselves are imposing. Standing silently amidst the modern landscape, they convey a sense of permanence and purpose. Their sheer size, careful placement, and enduring presence evoke the vision of people who sought to connect the earthly and the divine, to structure their world with stone in ways that would outlast generations. Today, the megalithic temple of Matsa continues to puzzle and inspire. Scholars debate the full range of its functions, the symbolic meaning of its alignments, and the techniques used to construct it. Yet the mystery is precisely what makes Matsa so compelling. It is a window into the minds of ancient people, their spiritual and social world, and their ability to manipulate massive stones with precision and purpose. As the sun casts long shadows across the circular platform, the temple's significance becomes evident. It is more than stone, it is a record of early human ingenuity, belief, and communal effort. Every niche, every alignment, and every stone tells a story of a society that sought to understand the world and their place in it. The megalithic temple of Matsa is a reminder that even in the distant past, humans were capable of remarkable architectural feats and spiritual sophistication. It stands as a silent witness to the beginnings of organized religion, communal effort, and monumental construction, inviting us to reflect on the ingenuity of our ancestors. The megalithic walls of Ait Ben Haddou. Rising from the arid plains of southern Morocco, the fortress city of Ait Ben Haddou stands as a monumental testament to human ingenuity and survival. Built along the ancient caravan routes that connected the Sahara to Marrakesh, this Kawsar, or fortified village, features imposing megalithic walls, designed not only for defense but also as a symbol of power and communal identity. These walls, constructed from rammed earth, stone, and mud brick, stretch across the hilltop in a serpentine formation, embracing clusters of dwellings, granaries, and religious structures. While seemingly simple, the construction techniques reveal an advanced understanding of weight distribution, erosion resistance, and defensive architecture. Centuries of harsh desert winds, seasonal rains, and shifting temperatures have left their mark, yet the walls stand resilient, showcasing the durability of ancient building practices. Walking through Ayet Ben Haddou, one cannot help but marvel at the scale and precision of the masonry. Each stone and mud block was carefully placed to create a continuous, unbroken barrier that could withstand both human attack and the forces of nature. Corner towers, strategically positioned, offer vantage points to monitor the surrounding plains, providing both security and an imposing visual statement. The construction of Ayet Ben Haddou's walls required not only architectural skill but immense social coordination. Entire communities would have worked in tandem, hauling stones from nearby quarries, mixing mud and clay, and laying the foundations with meticulous care. The process reflects a sophisticated understanding of materials, labor organization, and the long-term needs of a fortified settlement. These walls were designed to last, and their endurance is a testament to the ingenuity of the builders. Beyond their defensive function, the walls of Ayet Ben Haddou held significant cultural and social importance. They symbolized the unity of the community, the strength of its leadership, and the collective effort required to thrive in an unforgiving landscape. The imposing silhouette of the fortress atop its hill was a visual declaration, warning travelers, traders, and potential invaders of the community's presence and resilience. Archaeologists studying Ayet Ben Haddou have noted the remarkable alignment of the walls with the terrain. Natural slopes and ridges were integrated into the design, minimizing construction effort while maximizing defensive advantage. This harmony with the landscape is a hallmark of ancient engineering, demonstrating a deep understanding of environmental conditions and architectural adaptation. Inside the walls, narrow alleyways, stepped terraces, and interconnected homes create a labyrinthine interior, optimized for both defense and communal living. These passages allowed residents to move efficiently while protecting the most vulnerable areas of the settlement. Storage rooms, granaries, and water cisterns were carefully incorporated, highlighting the foresight of the builders and ensuring the survival of the community during sieges or droughts. The megalithic walls of Ayet Ben Haddou also reflect a broader narrative of ancient trade and cultural exchange. Situated on critical caravan routes, the fortress connected Saharan traders with northern cities, facilitating the exchange of gold, salt, spices, and knowledge. The walls, in this sense, were more than defensive structures. They were guardians of commerce, culture, and communication. Despite centuries of exposure to natural and human forces, the walls retain their monumental presence. They echo the voices of countless generations who lived, labored, and worshipped within their boundaries. Each stone, each mud brick, and each tower tells a story of human resilience, architectural skill, and societal cooperation. Modern visitors often marvel at the fortress's cinematic appeal, as Ayet Ben Haddou has served as a backdrop for numerous films and documentaries. Yet beyond its aesthetic charm lies a deeper significance, a window into the ingenuity of ancient communities who transformed modest materials into enduring megalithic walls capable of shaping both their environment and their history. The walls of Ayet Ben Haddou are more than defensive constructs. They are a statement of human ambition and adaptation. They remind us that long before modern engineering, communities around the world developed sophisticated techniques to survive, communicate, and assert their place in a challenging world. The fortress stands as a silent sentinel, preserving the legacy of its builders and inviting us to ponder the mysteries of ancient architectural mastery. As the sun sets over the desert plains, casting long shadows across the megalithic walls, one cannot help but sense the enduring power of human innovation. The walls are not just stone. They are memory, ingenuity, and history solidified in a monumental form. Each block is a testament to the skill, determination, and vision of those who came before us, offering a profound connection to a past that continues to inspire awe and curiosity. The colossal statue of Shapur I. Hidden in the rugged cliffs of ancient Persia, the colossal statue of Shapur I rises as a silent sentinel, witnessing centuries of history. Carved into limestone near the ancient city of Bishapur, this monumental figure depicts one of the most formidable kings of the Sasanian Empire, a ruler whose ambitions reshaped an empire and whose legacy has transcended time. Shapur I ruled from 2040 to 270 CE, at a period when the Sasanian dynasty was asserting its dominance across Persia and beyond. He was a conqueror, a diplomat, and a visionary, and the statue before us reflects not just his visage, but the ideology of his reign. Every line, every contour, every shadow on the carved limestone speaks to the authority and permanence he sought to project. It was a king who understood that power was as much about perception as it was about military might. The statue itself towers over 6 meters, carved with incredible precision. Unlike freestanding sculptures, the rock-cut nature of this monument meant that artisans had to work directly on the cliff, making careful calculations to ensure balance, proportion, and harmony with the natural terrain. One slip, one miscalculation could have ruined months of labor. The patience and expertise of the craftsmen are evident in the details, the flowing robes, the intricate belt, and the unmistakable stern expression of a king who had triumphed over Rome itself. Nearby, inscriptions provide additional context. They tell stories of battles, victories, and alliances, offering us a glimpse into the complex political landscape of the 3rd century Sasanian Empire. By examining these engravings, historians have pieced together accounts of Shapur's campaigns against Rome, his architectural endeavors, and his promotion of Zoroastrian culture. These inscriptions, etched alongside the statue, transform it from mere art into a narrative, a stone-etched chronicle of a ruler's ambitions and accomplishments. But what makes this statue truly remarkable is not just its scale, it's its interaction with the environment. Situated near a river and carved into the cliff face, it harnesses natural light to dramatic effect. At sunrise and sunset, shadows stretch across the king's features, giving the figure an almost lifelike presence. Scholars suggest this may have been intentional, a way to enhance the divine aura of the king and impress all who approached. This careful consideration of natural elements reflects a sophisticated understanding of both aesthetics and symbolism. Creating such a monument required extraordinary planning and coordination. The workers needed tools, scaffolding, and an intimate knowledge of stone. They had to quarry and remove enormous volumes of rock, all without the aid of modern machinery. The logistics alone, coordinating laborers, artisans, and engineers, would have been a massive undertaking, highlighting not only their skill but also the organizational sophistication of the Sasanian state. Over centuries, the statue has endured harsh weather, erosion, and human interference. Yet despite the passage of time, it retains its majesty. Visitors today often describe a profound sense of awe when standing before it. The sheer scale, combined with the intricate craftsmanship, evokes questions about what ancient societies were capable of, and why such monumental efforts were undertaken in an era without modern technology. The statue also provides insight into Sasanian religious and cultural life. Shapur I promoted Zoroastrianism as the state religion, and the monument may have served a dual function, asserting political authority and demonstrating divine sanction. In an era where kings were often seen as chosen or protected by the gods, monumental statues like this were powerful tools of legitimacy and propaganda. When we step back and view the statue in context, carved into the cliffs along a river valley, we begin to understand the genius of its creators. They were not merely sculptors, they were engineers, architects, and storytellers, creating a symbol that would endure for millennia. The scale of the project, the precision of its execution, and the lasting impact it has had on our understanding of Sasanian art and politics make this monument an extraordinary achievement. Even today, modern technology has revealed more about the statue. 3D scanning and satellite imaging have allowed researchers to analyze the angles, proportions, and even the environmental context of the statue in unprecedented detail. These studies continue to reveal subtle features that were invisible to the naked eye, showing us the meticulous planning and foresight of the ancient builders. The colossal statue of Shapur I stands not only as a tribute to a great king, but also as a testament to human ingenuity. It challenges modern assumptions about ancient societies and their capabilities, inviting us to reconsider what we thought we knew about the past. Each line carved in stone is a testament to human ambition, creativity, and the timeless desire to leave a legacy. In standing before this ancient giant, we are reminded of the enduring power of monumental art to convey authority, inspire awe, and transcend time. Shapur I may have reigned centuries ago, but through this statue, his presence still commands attention, bridging the gap between the ancient world and our own. The monument endures not merely as a relic, but as a story written in stone, a story of vision, power, and human perseverance. And as we continue to study and explore it, we are reminded of the countless mysteries that remain hidden in cliffs, deserts, and ruins around the world, waiting to be discovered. The giant Buddha of Galvihara. Hidden in the ancient city of Polonnaruwa, amidst the lush forests of central Sri Lanka, lies one of the most awe-inspiring monuments of the island's Buddhist heritage, the giant Buddha of Galvihara. Carved directly into a massive granite rock face, this monumental figure is more than just a sculpture. It is a testament to the vision, devotion, and skill of the craftsmen of the 12th century. The site of Galvihara, often referred to as the Rock Temple, was commissioned by King Parakramabahu I during a time of cultural renaissance in Sri Lanka. This king sought not only to strengthen the political power of his realm, but also to solidify Buddhism as the spiritual backbone of his empire. And nowhere is this ambition more clearly represented than in the giant Buddha carved into the granite cliffs. Standing at nearly 15 meters in length, the reclining Buddha dominates the landscape, while two seated and one standing Buddha complete the ensemble, each carved with incredible precision and artistry. These figures are not freestanding. They are hewn directly from the living rock, requiring masterful planning, engineering, and patience. The sheer scale and smooth perfection of these carvings leave viewers wondering how such accuracy could have been achieved without the modern tools we take for granted today. The reclining Buddha, lying in serene repose, symbolizes the Buddha's parinirvana, the moment of his passing into final enlightenment. Every curve, every fold of the robes, and every facial expression has been painstakingly rendered to evoke a sense of calm and transcendence. Scholars suggest that the emotion captured in the stone reflects both the religious devotion of the artisans and the aesthetic values of the time, blending spiritual reverence with artistic mastery. The standing Buddha, though slightly smaller, conveys a different type of power. With one hand raised in a gesture of blessing and protection, the figure exudes authority and tranquility simultaneously. The seated Buddhas, meditative and calm, complete a visual narrative that links the spiritual teachings of Buddhism with the political and cultural aspirations of the Sri Lankan kingdom. To achieve such perfection, ancient artisans would have needed more than just artistic talent. They required profound knowledge of geometry, anatomy, and rock engineering. Carving directly into granite is no simple task. Granite is one of the hardest natural stones, and shaping it with only chisels, hammers, and rudimentary tools required extreme precision. Mistakes could not be undone, meaning every strike had to be intentional, every measurement exact. Even more remarkable is the alignment of these figures with the surrounding landscape. The rock face was chosen carefully for its height, visibility, and durability. It not only provides a natural backdrop that enhances the visual impact of the carvings, but also ensures their protection from the elements over centuries. The integration of art and nature here demonstrates a sophisticated understanding of both aesthetics and environmental adaptation. The site of Galvihara also raises intriguing questions about construction techniques. How did artisans manage to scale the cliffs, transport materials, and maintain symmetry across such massive works? Some researchers suggest the use of scaffolding, pulleys, and careful measurements taken from preliminary sketches, yet the level of accuracy still seems almost impossible by modern standards. These questions continue to puzzle historians and archaeologists alike. Culturally, the giant Buddha of Galvihara represents the height of the Polonnaruwa period, reflecting a society that valued religion, art, and the demonstration of power through monumental construction. The carvings are not merely artistic, they are statements of faith, authority, and identity, deeply intertwined with the social and political fabric of the era. Visitors to the site often remark on the profound sense of peace that emanates from the statues, suggesting that the artists succeeded not only in crafting stone, but in capturing the essence of spiritual contemplation. Over centuries, the Buddha figures have endured weather, human interaction, and even political turmoil. Despite this, they retain a remarkable sense of serenity, demonstrating the durability of both the rock and the artistic vision behind it. Modern preservation efforts continue to protect these carvings, ensuring that future generations can witness this incredible achievement. Beyond the technical and artistic aspects, the giant Buddha of Galvihara also offers insight into the religious practices and beliefs of 12th century Sri Lanka. The detailed expressions, postures, and symbolism of the figures align closely with Buddhist teachings and rituals, reflecting a society deeply committed to spiritual life. The carvings serve as a visual scripture, telling the story of the Buddha's teachings in a language carved directly into stone. Today, Galvihara remains a site of pilgrimage, study, and inspiration. Scholars continue to analyze the methods of construction, the alignment with natural features, and the symbolic meanings encoded in the figures. Each visit offers new insights, reminding us that even in our modern world, ancient societies were capable of achievements that continue to challenge and inspire us. The giant Buddha of Galvihara is more than a relic, it is a bridge across time, connecting us to the spiritual devotion, artistic mastery, and engineering ingenuity of an ancient civilization. It invites us to contemplate the power of human creativity, the endurance of faith, and the mysteries that ancient monuments still hold. Standing before these colossal figures, one cannot help but feel the weight of history, the presence of the past, and the enduring marvel of human achievement. As we gaze upon the serene faces of these giant Buddhas, we are reminded that the pursuit of beauty, devotion, and legacy is universal, spanning continents and millennia. Galvihara challenges us to see beyond the stone, to imagine the lives, the culture, and the genius of the people who created something so monumental, so timeless, that it continues to awe the world today. The colossal statue of Ptah. In the heart of ancient Memphis, one of Egypt's most influential capitals, there once stood a monument that spoke of divine power, artistic mastery, and cultural identity. The colossal statue of Ptah. Revered as the god of creation, craftsmen, and architects, Ptah held a central place in the spiritual and civic life of ancient Egypt. To honor him, the Egyptians erected statues of immense scale, crafted to awe, inspire, and assert the presence of divine influence over the mortal world. The statue of Ptah, carved from massive blocks of stone, represents the god seated on a throne, his posture serene yet commanding. Every line, every proportion, and every carved detail was designed to convey authority, stability, and eternal power. This was no ordinary sculpture. It was a testament to the skill and vision of the ancient Egyptian artisans, whose understanding of stone, anatomy, and symbolism allowed them to translate divine concepts into tangible form. Memphis, as a center of religious, political, and cultural life, provided the perfect backdrop for such a monument. The colossal figure of Ptah was not merely decorative, it was a visual assertion of cosmic order and societal hierarchy. Pilgrims and citizens who approached the statue would have been enveloped by a sense of reverence and awe. The presence of the statue reinforced the belief that the gods were ever watchful, guiding and protecting the city. The craftsmanship of the statue remains remarkable even by modern standards. Each chisel mark, each polished surface, demonstrates precision and intent. The artisans had to carefully select the stone, carve it with painstaking accuracy, and transport enormous blocks without the benefit of modern machinery. The feat of moving and assembling such colossal elements continues to fascinate archaeologists, engineers, and historians alike. The symbolism embedded in the statue is as powerful as its physical presence. Ptah's seated posture, often depicted with a scroll or a symbol of creation, signifies his role as the architect of the universe. Through his image, the ancient Egyptians expressed their worldview, a universe governed by divine order, where creation and craftsmanship were inseparable from spiritual authority. The statue also reflects the Egyptian understanding of scale and perspective. Designed to dominate the surrounding space, it could be seen from afar, making its presence felt across the city. Such colossal statues were as much about visual impact as they were about religious devotion. They communicated power, permanence, and the continuity of divine guidance. Archaeological studies reveal that the statue was part of a larger temple complex dedicated to Ptah, possibly in the heart of Memphis near other monuments honoring pharaohs and deities. The placement of the statue within this sacred space emphasized its role as both a focal point for worship and a symbol of the city's spiritual and political identity. Over millennia, time and human activity have weathered the statue. Yet even in its surviving fragments, the artistry, scale, and symbolic power are evident. Each remaining portion tells a story of ancient devotion, technological skill, and cultural sophistication. Experts continue to analyze these fragments to understand the techniques used in carving, transporting, and assembling the colossal blocks, revealing insights into the ingenuity of Egyptian engineers and sculptors. The colossal statue of Ptah is more than a relic, it is a narrative frozen in stone. It speaks of a civilization capable of monumental artistic achievement, of individuals who revered the divine in ways that merged art, religion, and civic identity. For modern viewers, it offers a window into the ancient mind, a civilization that understood the power of scale, symbolism, and craftsmanship to communicate ideas that transcended generations. Culturally, Ptah embodied creation, craftsmanship, and knowledge. By immortalizing him in stone, the Egyptians were not just honoring a deity, they were asserting the principles he represented: order, skill, and enduring legacy. Every line, every proportion of the statue was calculated to reflect these ideals, demonstrating the sophistication of Egyptian art and religious thought. As scholars study Memphis and the remnants of its monumental art, the colossal statue of Ptah stands as a testament to human ambition and divine imagination. It challenges our understanding of what ancient civilizations were capable of, reminding us that our ancestors possessed knowledge, skill, and artistic vision far beyond what we often credit to them. In its silent majesty, the statue invites reflection on the nature of faith, creativity, and human endeavor. It reminds us that civilizations rise and fall, yet the desire to leave a mark, an enduring symbol of values, beliefs, and achievements, remains constant. The colossal statue of Ptah is a legacy carved in stone, connecting us across millennia to a people who sought to merge the earthly and the divine in a form so monumental it still commands our awe today. Through this singular work, we glimpse the intersection of art, religion, and power in ancient Egypt. The statue serves as a reminder that the stories of gods, men, and the civilizations they build are etched not only in written records but in the stones that endure, waiting for generations to witness their silent testimony. The colossal statue of the feathered serpent at Teotihuacan, deep in the heart of the ancient city of Teotihuacan, rising from the desert floor, stands a monument that captures the imagination and intrigue of historians, archaeologists, and travelers alike. The colossal statue of the feathered serpent, known to the locals as Quetzalcoatl, this god embodied both the celestial and terrestrial realms, bridging the gap between the heavens and the earth. The statue, monumental in scale and extraordinary in detail, speaks of a civilization that understood the power of art, religion, and symbolism in ways that still baffle us today. Teotihuacan, at its peak, was one of the largest cities in the ancient world. Its streets were lined with temples, palaces, and residential complexes, each reflecting the complex social and spiritual structure of its inhabitants. Among these wonders, the feathered serpent rises as a testament to religious devotion, political authority, and architectural mastery. The statue itself, carved with meticulous precision, depicts a serpent adorned with elaborate feathers, fangs, and scales, coiling and twisting as if alive. This figure was not merely decorative, it was a symbol of fertility, renewal, power, and divine protection, central to the cosmology of Teotihuacan. Archaeologists have long marveled at the technical skill required to construct such a colossal sculpture. The statue is composed of massive stone blocks, intricately carved and assembled with astounding precision. Each segment had to align perfectly, not only to maintain the visual integrity of the serpent, but also to withstand the test of time and natural forces. The feat of transporting these enormous stones from distant quarries, shaping them with tools available thousands of years ago, and then placing them in exacting positions, reflects an advanced understanding of engineering that continues to puzzle experts. The feathered serpent was more than a religious emblem. It served as a focal point for rituals, ceremonies, and offerings that reinforced the authority of the city's rulers and priests. Within its shadow, citizens gathered to witness events that connected their lives to cosmic cycles, to the rising and setting of the sun, and to the myths that structured their society. The placement of the statue within Teotihuacan, particularly near the Temple of the Feathered Serpent and along the Avenue of the Dead, indicates its integral role in both the spiritual and civic life of the city. Symbolism permeates every detail of the statue. The serpent, a creature associated with both land and sky, represents duality, the connection of earth and heaven, life and death, creation and destruction. The feathers signify ascension, transformation, and the celestial realm, while the serpent's fangs embody power, danger, and divine authority. Together, these elements form a powerful visual narrative, a reminder to the people of Teotihuacan of the god's omnipresence and influence over every aspect of their lives. The construction of the statue was also part of a larger architectural vision. It is embedded in the Temple of the Feathered Serpent, a massive structure with stepped platforms, decorative friezes, and intricate reliefs depicting serpents, warriors, and sacrificial motifs. The alignment of the temple and its statues may also reflect astronomical observations, linking the city's religious practices to the cycles of the sun, moon, and stars. Scholars continue to debate whether Teotihuacan's builders intended the statue to mark specific celestial events, a theory that, if proven, would further highlight their advanced understanding of astronomy and engineering. Despite its grandeur, the colossal statue of the feathered serpent is also a mystery. Who exactly commissioned its construction? How were the massive stones quarried, transported, and assembled with such precision? And what did the people of Teotihuacan truly believe about the god they venerated? While much remains unknown, ongoing excavations and studies have revealed fragments of sacrificial offerings, ceremonial objects, and symbolic carvings that hint at a culture deeply connected to ritual, cosmology, and monumental art. The feathered serpent's presence also had a psychological and social impact. Citizens and visitors alike would have been awed by its sheer scale, reminded of the city's power, the divine sanction of its rulers, and the mysteries that lay beyond human understanding. The colossal form, visible from afar, served as a constant symbol of protection, authority, and the continuity of cosmic order. Today, the statue stands as one of the most iconic symbols of Teotihuacan and Mesoamerican civilization. It challenges modern observers to comprehend the sophistication, vision, and artistic skill of people who lived more than a millennium ago. Every carved scale, every feather, and every fang tells a story of devotion, knowledge, and ambition. The colossal statue of the feathered serpent is more than a monument. It is a connection across time, a testament to a culture that valued art, religion, and the power of symbolism. It reminds us that ancient civilizations, far from being primitive, possessed profound understanding of engineering, aesthetics, and the human psyche. Their creations endure, inviting us to question, explore, and marvel at the ingenuity of those who came before us. In the shadow of the feathered serpent, we witness not only the grandeur of Teotihuacan, but the enduring capacity of humanity to express faith, power, and identity through colossal, awe-inspiring works of art. This statue, silent yet commanding, continues to guard its ancient city, whispering the mysteries of a civilization that once ruled the heavens and the earth alike. The megalithic temple of Halebidu. Nestled in the verdant hills of Karnataka, India, the Hoysaleswara temple of Halebidu stands as a monumental testament to human creativity, devotion, and architectural brilliance. Carved from dark chloritic schist, this temple is not only a place of worship, but a living chronicle of the Hoysala dynasty's ingenuity and cultural sophistication. Its walls, adorned with thousands of intricate sculptures, depict gods, goddesses, mythological battles, and scenes from everyday life. capturing both spiritual devotion and societal narratives in a way that continues to mesmerize historians and visitors alike. Built in the 12th century during the reign of King Vishnuvardhana, the temple was originally dedicated to Lord Shiva. Yet, beyond its religious significance, Halebidu represents an unparalleled achievement in megalithic architecture. Every stone was painstakingly carved with precision, assembled without the aid of modern machinery, and aligned with such care that the temple has withstood centuries of natural wear, invasions, and the relentless passage of time. The artistry of Halebidu is unmatched. As you approach the temple, your eyes are immediately drawn to the profusion of carvings that cover nearly every surface. Each frieze, each sculpture, tells a story. The battle scenes of the Ramayana and Mahabharata leap from the stone in dynamic motion, frozen yet alive, while scenes of dancers, musicians, and celestial beings illustrate a society deeply connected to culture, ritual, and aesthetic sensibilities. These carvings are not merely decorative, they are coded narratives, a language of devotion and storytelling etched in stone. The megalithic aspects of Halebidu are equally fascinating. The temple's foundation and platform are constructed using massive stone blocks, perfectly joined without mortar. The precision of the interlocking stones speaks of engineering knowledge that challenges our understanding of medieval construction techniques. Scholars continue to debate the methods used to quarry, transport, and assemble such enormous stones with such accuracy, especially given the tools available at the time. Every angle, every joint, reflects careful planning and meticulous craftsmanship. Beyond the artistry and engineering, the Hoysala temple reveals the religious and philosophical ideals of its era. Shiva, the cosmic destroyer and transformer, is represented not just as a deity but as a force of nature, omnipresent and eternal. Surrounding him are detailed depictions of the gods Vishnu and Brahma, celestial attendants, and human devotees, emphasizing the interconnectedness of divine, cosmic, and mortal realms. The temple was designed as a microcosm of the universe, a sacred space where architecture, religion, and art converge to inspire reverence and contemplation. But Halebidu is also a story of survival and resilience. Despite repeated attacks, particularly during the 14th century invasions by the Delhi Sultanate, much of the temple endured. Its carvings, though weathered, still retain a remarkable level of detail. This resilience is a testament to the advanced understanding of materials, load distribution, and structural engineering that the Hoysala artisans employed. The temple's endurance challenges our assumptions about medieval societies, reminding us that precision, beauty, and durability were paramount even a millennium ago. The temple's layout itself is a marvel. Designed in a stellate pattern, the sanctum, halls, and shrines follow a geometry that harmonizes with both aesthetic and spiritual principles. Pilgrims moving through the temple are guided along paths that lead from the mundane to the sacred, from the earthly realm into the presence of the divine. Each step, each passage, was planned to evoke contemplation, awe, and a sense of cosmic order. Visitors often remark on the tactile power of Halebidu, running your fingers along the carved stones, tracing the delicate floral motifs, or observing the lifelike expressions of mythological figures. It becomes clear that this temple was more than a building, it was a bridge between humanity and the divine. It represents the cumulative knowledge, faith, and artistic ambition of an entire civilization. Archaeologists and historians continue to study Halebidu, not only for its religious and cultural significance, but also for the mysteries it holds. How were such massive stones transported across difficult terrain? How did artisans achieve such intricate precision in their carvings without modern measuring tools? Why did the Hoysala dynasty invest so much labor and resources into these monumental temples? Each question hints at a deeper understanding of medieval Indian society, a society that valued faith, artistry, and engineering in equal measure. The megalithic temple of Halebidu remains a beacon of India's architectural heritage. Its colossal structures, detailed sculptures, and harmonious design evoke awe, reverence, and curiosity. Standing before it, one is reminded that humanity has always sought to leave its mark on the world, to reach beyond the ordinary, and to communicate with the eternal. The temple whispers the story of a civilization that understood that stone could be transformed into poetry, that architecture could be more than shelter, and that devotion could manifest as enduring beauty. Even today, as sunlight casts shadows across the intricately carved walls, and as pilgrims and tourists wander its sacred halls, Halebidu continues to inspire. It stands as a monument to human ambition, creativity, and the unyielding desire to connect with forces larger than ourselves. Every column, every frieze, every sculpted figure is a testament to the ingenuity and spiritual devotion of those who came before us, a civilization whose legacy still speaks to us across the centuries. The megalithic temple of Halebidu is more than an architectural wonder. It is a story carved in stone, a lesson in precision, devotion, and the boundless capacity of human imagination. For those who venture into its halls, It offers not just history, but a glimpse into the timeless dialogue between humanity, art, and the divine. The megalithic walls of Taxila, Pakistan. Rising from the dusty plains of Punjab, Pakistan, the ancient city of Taxila reveals a civilization that flourished over 2 millennia ago, a place where culture, commerce, and architecture converged into something extraordinary. Among its many marvels, the megalithic walls of Taxila stand as a testament to the skill, foresight, and engineering genius of its builders. These walls were not merely defensive structures, they were statements of power, artistry, and the sophisticated understanding of construction that ancient societies possessed long before the modern era. Stretching across strategic hills and valleys, the walls of Taxila were built with immense stones, hewn with remarkable precision, and placed together without mortar in many sections. The sheer scale of these walls is staggering, suggesting an organized workforce, careful planning, and knowledge of structural engineering that continues to baffle scholars today. Some stones weigh multiple tons, yet they were lifted, aligned, and interlocked in ways that have allowed these walls to endure earthquakes, weather, and centuries of human activity. Taxila's megalithic walls were designed not just as fortifications but as protective enclosures for a thriving city at the crossroads of trade, culture, and conquest. Situated along the ancient Silk Road, Taxila connected South Asia to Central Asia, the Middle East, and beyond. These walls served as silent sentinels, safeguarding scholars, artisans, and traders who carried knowledge, religion, and goods across continents. Within their shadows, the city became a hub of learning, philosophy, and spiritual inquiry, a place where ideas traveled as freely as goods. Walking along the remnants of these colossal walls today, one is struck by their enduring craftsmanship. The stones are cut and fitted with uncanny precision, many showing signs of techniques that modern engineers are still trying to replicate. Scholars debate the methods used by the ancient builders. Were simple tools enough, or did they possess knowledge of leverage, pulleys, and other mechanical principles far ahead of their time? Each joint, each carved surface, hints at a society that valued durability, strategy, and aesthetic harmony. The walls themselves tell stories. Archaeologists have discovered evidence of multiple construction phases, suggesting that Taxila evolved over centuries, adapting to political changes, threats, and cultural influences. Layers of stone, varying in size and technique, reveal the city's resilience and the ingenuity of its architects. Taxila's walls were not static, they grew with the city, accommodating its expanding population, fortifying its most vulnerable areas, and symbolizing the strength of a civilization determined to endure. Beyond their structural brilliance, the walls are intertwined with the spiritual and cultural life of Taxila. Within the fortified city lay monasteries, temples, and educational centers, where students studied medicine, astronomy, and philosophy. These walls, formidable and unyielding, became guardians of knowledge, shielding one of the ancient world's most important centers of learning. Taxila was a city where stone became a vessel for both protection and enlightenment, a place where human ambition reached toward the sky and the mind. The megalithic walls of Taxila also provoke questions about labor and organization. How did a civilization without modern machinery move and place stones weighing several tons? How were these fortifications planned with such foresight, considering both defense and urban layout? Archaeologists suggest the use of ramps, levers, and sheer human ingenuity. Yet even with these theories, the exact methods remain partially shrouded in mystery. The walls challenge our assumptions about ancient societies, revealing a level of sophistication and coordination that rivals even modern engineering. As we explore these ruins, the walls evoke the sounds of a bustling ancient city, the clang of tools, the chatter of workers, the footsteps of guards patrolling the fortifications. These stones are not mere relics, they are storytellers, preserving centuries of human endeavor, ingenuity, and resilience. Each crack and crevice, each weathered corner, carries a whisper of the people who lived, worked, and thrived behind their protective embrace. The strategic placement of the walls highlights another remarkable aspect: their integration with the natural landscape. Hills, rivers, and valleys were incorporated into the city's defenses, turning nature itself into a partner in fortification. This intelligent use of terrain demonstrates that the builders of Taxila understood both engineering and environmental harmony, blending human ingenuity with the land's inherent strengths to create a fortress that is both formidable and enduring. The megalithic walls of Taxila are more than stone barriers. They are a monument to human ambition, creativity, and endurance. Standing before them, one feels a connection across millennia, a glimpse into a civilization that balanced strength with beauty, defense with knowledge, and practicality with spiritual devotion. These walls are a bridge between the ancient and the modern, reminding us that the pursuit of permanence, protection, and progress is a timeless human endeavor. Today, as scholars continue to study Taxila, the walls reveal new secrets. Excavations uncover inscriptions, remnants of gates, and evidence of urban planning that redefine our understanding of early South Asian civilizations. Each discovery deepens our appreciation for the skill, vision, and cultural richness of a society whose achievements continue to resonate across the centuries. The megalithic walls of Taxila endure as symbols of ingenuity and perseverance. They invite us to ponder the capabilities of ancient builders and the civilization they protected. And in their silent majesty, they remind us that history is not just a record of what was, but a testament to human ambition, ingenuity, and the unyielding desire to shape the world. The megalithic temple of Polonnaruwa, Sri Lanka. In the heart of Sri Lanka lies Polonnaruwa, a city of ancient grandeur and enduring mysteries. Amid its lush landscapes and winding rivers stands a megalithic temple, a structure that speaks of devotion, precision, and the remarkable skill of its builders. This temple is more than a place of worship. It is a testament to the ingenuity of a civilization that thrived centuries before modern architecture and engineering were known. The temple's foundations are laid with massive stones, meticulously cut and fitted together without the use of modern mortar. Each block appears to have been placed with an understanding of balance, weight, and alignment that would challenge engineers today. Scholars studying Polonnaruwa are astonished by the precision of these constructions, noting how the stones have endured centuries of monsoon rains, tropical heat, and seismic activity, yet remain immovable, steadfast in their original positions. Walking through the temple complex, one is struck by its scale and layout. The design is deliberate, a harmony of geometry and symmetry. Pathways lead to sanctuaries, altars, and ceremonial halls, each oriented with purpose. Some researchers suggest that the temple may have been aligned with celestial events, perhaps marking solstices or equinoxes, integrating astronomical knowledge into sacred architecture. This connection between earth and sky is a hallmark of megalithic structures worldwide, and Polonnaruwa is no exception. The temple is carved from stone that would have required immense effort to quarry and transport. The logistics of moving these massive blocks remain a topic of fascination. Did the builders use wooden sledges, levers, and ramps? Or did they possess techniques now lost to time, methods that allowed them to manipulate stone with a mastery we struggle to replicate today? Each step, each stone, tells a story of human determination, ingenuity, and the pursuit of permanence. Beyond the construction itself, the temple is a window into the culture and beliefs of ancient Polonnaruwa. Archaeologists have uncovered remnants of rituals, inscriptions, and sculptural art that hint at spiritual practices and societal hierarchy. The megalithic temple was not simply a building, it was a center of religious life, a gathering place for communities, a space where art, faith, and engineering converged in stone. The intricacy of the temple extends to its carvings. Reliefs depict deities, mythological scenes, and symbolic motifs, all etched into stone with remarkable detail. These carvings are not merely decorative, they communicate stories, spiritual beliefs, and cultural values, bridging generations across centuries. As you move from one chamber to the next, the depth of craftsmanship is undeniable. Every curve, every angle demonstrates a meticulous care for both function and aesthetics. Yet, despite centuries of study, many questions about the temple remain unanswered. How did the builders manage such feats with the tools available at the time? What precise techniques allowed them to create interlocking stones that have withstood the test of time? Scholars continue to debate these questions, recognizing that Polonnaruwa's megalithic temple is not just an architectural wonder, but also an enduring puzzle, a silent testament to human ingenuity. The temple also reflects the broader urban planning of Polonnaruwa itself. Roads, water channels, and smaller shrines interconnect with the main temple, suggesting an integrated approach to civic and spiritual life. The megalithic structures were part of a functioning city, harmoniously blending infrastructure, spirituality, and community, a reflection of a civilization that understood the balance between practicality and sacred space. Exploring the temple today, visitors experience both awe and mystery. The weight of the stones, the precision of the alignments, the artistic mastery, all evoke questions about the capabilities of ancient societies. How did they envision such monumental structures? How did they sustain the labor, skill, and organization required? The temple challenges our assumptions about ancient technology, artistry, and social coordination. Polonnaruwa's megalithic temple remains not only a spiritual landmark, but also a symbol of endurance. Its stones bear the marks of history, weathered yet resilient, echoing the lives of those who built it, worshipped within it, and protected it. Every worn surface and carved motif invites reflection on a past that was sophisticated, deliberate, and deeply connected to both the earth and the heavens. This temple, like so many megalithic structures around the world, reminds us that human ambition has always reached for permanence. Through stone and space, these ancient builders left behind more than walls and carvings. They left a dialogue across time, challenging us to understand their methods, appreciate their artistry, and respect the knowledge embedded in every block. The megalithic temple of Polonnaruwa endures as a monument to ingenuity, faith, and human determination. Its silent stones continue to inspire wonder, beckoning scholars, explorers, and travelers to uncover the secrets of a civilization that achieved the extraordinary millennia before modern technology. The colossal statue of the Hittite king, Suppiluliuma. In the heart of Anatolia, Turkey, among rolling plains and ancient ruins, stands a testament to a civilization that ruled long before the rise of classical empires, the Hittites. Central to this legacy is the colossal statue of one of their greatest rulers, King Suppiluliuma. Towering and imposing, this statue is more than stone. It is a window into the power, artistry, and political genius of an ancient empire that shaped the course of history. Suppiluliuma, who reigned during the 14th century BCE, transformed the Hittite kingdom into a formidable force in the ancient Near East. He expanded territories, negotiated treaties with neighboring powers, and consolidated the influence of the Hittite royal family. Yet beyond the chronicles and inscriptions, the statue itself speaks volumes about how the Hittites viewed kingship, authority, and legacy. Carved from a single massive block of stone, the figure dominates its surroundings, a silent sentinel watching over the land that once bowed to its ruler. The artistry of the statue is remarkable. Its proportions, though grand, reflect an understanding of human anatomy and balance that few cultures of the era achieved. The sculptor meticulously detailed Suppiluliuma's attire, his ceremonial headdress, and the symbolic insignia of power. Each carved line, each feature, conveys not only authority, but also the sacred nature of kingship. The Hittites believed their rulers were intermediaries between the divine and the mortal, and this statue embodies that sacred connection. Transporting and erecting such a colossal figure posed an extraordinary challenge. The statue weighs several tons, and its relocation would have required sophisticated knowledge of levers, sledges, and manpower coordination. Archaeologists and engineers still debate how such feats were accomplished without modern machinery. The precision with which the statue was positioned suggests the Hittites had a highly organized workforce and an intimate understanding of mechanical principles. Beyond its construction, the statue held political and cultural significance. Positioned in a prominent location, it served as a reminder of royal authority, a symbol meant to inspire loyalty and awe among subjects and visitors alike. Surrounding inscriptions celebrate Suppiluliuma's victories, treaties, and divine favor. The statue was both propaganda and devotion, a convergence of power and spirituality carved in enduring stone. The Hittite Empire was known for its diplomatic prowess as much as its military might. Suppiluliuma's reign included unprecedented interactions with neighboring civilizations, such as Egypt, Babylon, and Mitanni. The statue, in this context, becomes more than art. It is a political statement. It communicates the king's strength, legitimacy, and divine endorsement to any who would see it, reinforcing his place among the great rulers of the ancient world. What truly captivates modern scholars is not just the size of the statue, but the technical mastery it represents. The stone is carved with precision, with joints and features that have resisted erosion over millennia. The Hittites' ability to source such massive stone blocks, transport them across difficult terrain, and carve them into intricate likenesses remains a mystery that continues to challenge contemporary understanding. Visiting the statue today, one cannot help but feel the weight of history. The immense scale dwarfs the human figure, evoking awe and respect. It serves as a reminder that ancient civilizations, often underestimated, were capable of extraordinary feats in engineering, artistry, and statecraft. Every detail of the statue, the angle of the shoulders, the expression of the face, the carved symbols, tells a story of ambition, skill, and the enduring desire to be remembered. The statue also provides insight into Hittite religious and cultural beliefs. Kingship was intertwined with divinity, and monumental statues like this were considered sacred embodiments of power. Through such sculptures, the Hittites communicated with both the living and the divine, ensuring that the king's presence would endure across generations, long after his reign had ended. Despite centuries of study, many aspects of the statue remain shrouded in mystery. How exactly was it transported? What rituals were performed in its presence? And why have only fragments or isolated colossal statues survived, while the rest of the empire's monumental art has been lost to time? Each unanswered question only deepens the fascination, highlighting the ingenuity of a civilization that thrived thousands of years ago. The colossal statue of Suppiluliuma stands as a silent monument to human ambition. It bridges the gap between past and present, reminding us that ancient peoples were not merely survivors of their era. They were innovators, artists, and engineers capable of works that continue to astonish today. As the sun casts shadows across its carved features, the statue endures, a testament to the Hittites' legacy and the enduring power of monumental art. It remains more than stone, it is a story frozen in time, an enduring symbol of authority, and a challenge to modern understanding. The colossal statue of Sepulchre beckons us to study, to marvel, and to recognize the ingenuity of an empire that, despite the passage of millennia, still commands attention and awe. The Bamiyan Buddha. In the remote valleys of central Afghanistan, carved into the cliffs of the Bamiyan region, once stood a marvel of human artistry and devotion, the colossal Bamiyan Buddhas. Towering over 50 meters high, these monumental statues were not merely stone and mud, they were testaments to an ancient civilization's spiritual devotion, technical skill, and cultural sophistication. Though tragically destroyed in recent history, their legacy continues to inspire awe and scholarly fascination. The Bamiyan Buddhas were carved into the cliffs sometime in the 6th century CE, during a time when Buddhism flourished along the Silk Road. They represented more than religious icons, they were symbols of the cultural and economic exchange that connected East and West. The very cliffs themselves became canvases for monumental sculpture, their sheer scale demonstrating the technical prowess of artisans who worked without modern machinery. Creating these towering figures required precision and planning on an unprecedented scale. Workers carved directly into the sandstone cliffs, meticulously sculpting the outlines, and then layering mud and stucco to create the finer details. Pigments added color, and traces of gold and lapis lazuli hinted at the brilliance that once adorned their surfaces. The figures were more than lifelike, they were imbued with spiritual energy, intended to radiate a divine presence across the Bamiyan Valley. These statues were not isolated creations. Surrounding niches contained hundreds of smaller figures, monasteries, and intricate frescoes, forming a vast religious complex. The valley itself was transformed into a sacred landscape, a place where pilgrims, traders, and local communities could witness the fusion of art, architecture, and faith. The Buddhas were both guardians and symbols, their immense presence intended to inspire reverence and contemplation. Scholars remain fascinated by the methods used to construct such colossal works. Scaffolding systems, pulley mechanisms, and coordinated labor forces were likely employed to reach the upper sections. Every line, every curve speaks to an advanced understanding of geometry and human-scale proportion, which allowed the figures to maintain their imposing presence despite centuries of weathering. Beyond technical mastery, the Bamiyan Buddhas reveal much about the intersection of culture and politics. They stood at a crossroads of civilizations, where Gandharan, Central Asian, and Indian artistic traditions converged. The statues were a statement of religious authority and political patronage, commissioned by rulers and monastic communities to demonstrate devotion, power, and cultural sophistication. The destruction of the Bamiyan Buddhas in 2001 was a tragedy of both art and history. Yet even in ruin, they continue to tell a story. Archaeologists, historians, and digital reconstruction teams have worked tirelessly to study their remnants, preserving knowledge about construction techniques, stylistic influences, and the cultural significance of the site. Each fragment, each cavity in the cliff face offers a glimpse into a world where faith, artistry, and ambition intertwined on a monumental scale. The sheer scale of the Bamiyan Buddhas also emphasizes the human desire to reach for the divine. Standing at the foot of the cliffs, one can almost imagine the immense effort, devotion, and reverence poured into their creation. These statues were not just objects, they were embodiments of spiritual ideals, monumental reminders of humanity's search for meaning, protection, and connection to the sacred. Even today, visitors and scholars alike are struck by the audacity of these creations. How did a society, thousands of years ago, carve figures of such enormity and detail? How were pigments sourced, transported, and applied to surfaces hundreds of feet above the valley floor? Each answer uncovered only leads to deeper appreciation of the ingenuity, patience, and vision of the people who brought the Buddhas to life. In their destruction, the Bamiyan Buddhas also highlight the fragility of human heritage. They remind us that even the most imposing creations are vulnerable, yet their cultural and spiritual imprint endures. Through photographs, historical records, and 3D reconstructions, the memory of these colossi continues to educate and inspire, preserving the story of an ancient civilization's devotion and extraordinary technical skill. The Bamiyan Buddhas were more than statues, they were bridges across time, connecting the present to a world that valued art, faith, and human ingenuity on a scale that continues to astonish. Even as the cliffs bear the scars of destruction, the spirit of the Buddhas endures, reminding humanity of its capacity to create, to revere, and to aspire beyond the ordinary. Standing in the shadow of these monumental figures, one can feel the weight of history, the echoes of devotion, and the indomitable will of human creativity. The Bamiyan Buddhas, though gone, remain eternal in their message, that humanity's pursuit of the sublime can leave marks on the world that endure for millennia, inspiring generations yet to come.